Well, well, here we go, y'all knuckleheads. Good to see ya. I think we're live. This is the State of Play stream, you guys. Welcome. It's good to see you. We are doing a proper Gabbin' and Games later after the State of Play show. Here's my Ritalin. And that will be about an hour after. But right now we're going to watch all the news roll in. And we'll talk about it after their show. And then we'll do a proper Gabbin' and Games. A lot of news coming out today afterwards. So I hope you're excited. Here's some quick predictions. Well, let's make sure we got audio. I think the stream should be better today as it relates to buffering. I'll tell you what, I fucking hope so. Let me put myself in the call-in waiting room 1 second. There we go.
What a forward young man.
Here's what I think we're going to be seeing. I do think we're going to see Corey's new game today. I could be wrong. But the fact that he was at DICE this morning on stage with Jason Rubin doing a DICE, Corey's not one to kind of get out in the world of PR really much anymore without there being a reason. So that's a prediction. I don't have any evidence other than that. I got to get a screwdriver for this microphone soon. This is getting bad. So that's a theory. The rumor is that we're going to be seeing the new Bungie game. That it was Gummy Bears is kind of the code name for it that I hear is really, really, really good. And then Sony also put up a post, like Sony proper, not PlayStation, saying you're about to see something, and it had a sword from Ghost of Tsushima. So we know we're going to be seeing that. So it should be a pretty exciting show. And then, now this is just crazy. I don't think we're seeing anything with this, but you never know. Rockstar Games officially joined Discord and created a Grand Theft Auto 6 channel. Now, you know, speculation, my delightful delinquents, is running wild, of course. You would think, oh, well, that means maybe we're going to hear some Grand Theft Auto news later today. So maybe, mayhaps this is accurate, but I'm excited. Hang on, we got 9 minutes to go. Let me move this out of the way. Over here. Down a little bit for the moment. All right. No, I'm jazzed. I'm super jazzed to see what they're going to show today. What else? I mean, we know we'll probably get some Death Stranding stuff today. Let's get into a little news while we're waiting. Unless you guys have some stuff you want to talk about today, we are doing call-ins, but we're doing them in the Discord because we've been getting some weird problems with buffering. So. Yeah, look at the chat. What are people expecting? Spider-Man 3? I don't think so. Will we see Forza Horizon? Maybe. Obviously, God of War Remastered. It sounds like there's going to be a God of War. That would be something if they give us a God of War Remaster and we get to see a teaser for Corey's new game. That would be pretty cool. And then, what else? I don't think we'll see any intergalactic Wolverine. I mean, look, like I said this last night when we were talking about this State of Play. I mean, Sony, anytime you say anything about Sony that isn't glowing, you've got their little Sony fan base that is, you know, but they're the number one. And it's like, yeah, that's not what I'm talking about, idiot. But anyway, my point is, though, is that if I'm Sony and I'm running Sony, I'm not on the live. I'm not live on the State of Play stream. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm not live on it. Oh yeah. Now I am. Thank you for that, PK. You know, they run and they tell you, oh, you're not right. They're number one. And I'm like, well, okay, they're number one for now. But if I'm running Sony at this point, I would be like, this is an important State of Play for us. We got to kind of, I don't think they're in any danger of losing any ground to Xbox or anything like that, but I think there is kind of a bit of a heart and minds issue as new hardware starts to come up. And PCs are selling more, consoles are not selling more. I think they need to kind of remind people why they are number one. You know, they need to remind people that they can do more than just remasters and put out, you know, some failed service games. And I mean, I'm not saying they didn't have Helldivers, they did, but you know what I'm saying. And then there's obviously the rumor of Bloodborne. There's always the rumor of Bloodborne. Bloodborne is the new Last Guardian, I suppose. We'll see it one day. We'll all be busting over this state of play, says Film Gamer X. I mean, you know how these things go. There's a higher percentage chance based on history that we will finish this particular state of play and go, they spent 25 minutes of the 40 showing us some bullshit Death Stranding. They showed us a decent trailer for Tsushima that was, you know, if you're into that like I am, you're going to get it anyway. And then maybe they just teased the new Bungie, you know, something like that. And then maybe a couple third-party exclusives. But I don't know if that's true. PK, I hope that's not the case, but that's what sort of history suggests. Do you actually care about 30 more frames for Bloodborne when it's not even that old of a game? I care about Bloodborne. I care about Bloodborne running better, looking better. I played it. I finished it. I fucking adored it. And just to get it in a sleeker coat of paint, I'll sign up for that. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. So yeah, I am excited. Addie Pie says Death Stranding was excellent, Jaffe. I'm thrilled for you that you love that game. You know. Yeah, no, that was Shuhei who said a former Sony executive made a comment saying games are so expensive now that releasing remasters is a must. Yeah. But it doesn't mean that's all. Are you shitting me? We're buffering again? All right. Well, we weren't buffering last night. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm going to go ahead and close Discord is what I'm going to do. Maybe it's Discord. But here's what I'll tell you. If it turns out that this is a no-go and it's buffering, I highly recommend, not that you need me to recommend, going somewhere else and watching it. Hit refresh, but if it keeps happening, go somewhere else and watch it. I will have a full live response to the show after, but no clue why I'm buffering because there's no reason I should be. I've changed my bit rate. I don't fucking know, but we'll see what happens. All right, but regardless, though, I'm not going to let that damper my joy of the day because this is fun when this happens. It's fun when we get to see a bunch of new video games, man. You know, I'm jazzed about that shit. So we'll see. But, and then again, later in the day, we'll do, another Gabbin' Games where it's actually proper news, not just this stuff. Yeah, if it buffers, go watch it with Grums. I'm sure that would be delighted. And Avowed is not just next week, it's tomorrow. In fact, there was there was a review that leaked today that gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Now, I don't know much about it, how credible it is, kind of like what Kevin is saying, but I'm super excited to play that. I will be playing that tomorrow morning. So when you wake up, assuming, the internet still works here, I'll be streaming that tomorrow instead of a normal show. We'll do a normal show in the afternoon, but I'm super excited for that. What do we got? A minute left. This could be great though. This is the time they need to deliver. Can I get, and eventually I'll put what will be up here will be this. In fact, let me fix the green screen problem too. People who are Movie Maniac playing the new FromSoft before it's out in beta next week. Previews have been really good. All right, let's turn up the audio. Here we go, boys. Yeah, it might disappoint Eddie Pie, but fuck it. Beats being moody. Let's go for something. What does that mean, what I just said? Let's go for something.
I had no idea just how big the world is.
John Williams gonna sue somebody. I think we will be getting a demo today drop. I think it's going to be that Lost in Random sequel.
Flying feline incoming!
Mutant Mo, since I'm not on Discord right now, not Mutant Mo, Tech Protect. If you need something, just hit me up in the chat and I'll open up the Discord.
Stand witness to how its existence unfolds.
Buffering, yeah. I believe it.
皆さんこんにちは。モンスターハンターワイルズプロデューサーの辻本です。無料タイトルアップデート第1弾の追加モンスターとして玉三つが決定いたしました。この他にもタイトルアップデート第1弾で追加されるコンテンツはまだありますが、詳細は改めてお知らせしたいと思っております。本作は発売後に数回のタイトルアップデートを予定しています。タイトルアップデート計画については追ってお知らせしますので、今後の情報にご期待ください。2月28日の発売まであと少し。皆様に楽しんでいただけることを心よりお待ちしております。本日の発表は以上となります。引き続きステートオブプレイをお
God.
楽しみく
Yeah,
だ
if
さい。
it's 30 minutes of this, but it won't be. Thank God.
Forged to unleash vengeance.
Ooh, 2D Shinobi? Is that what this
More
is?
than a weapon. It is the soul of a shinobi. No obstacle can stand in their way. Soaring where others would not dare. Striking with lethal precision. Each weapon a tool, each tool a part of the whole. This is the mastery of a shinobi. The legend continues.
Ooh. I always love the Sonic racing games. That's awesome. Wonder who's making this. It's not Sumo, is it? I don't think they're doing those anymore. Oh, okay, that's cool. They're doing the ratchet thing. The SSD shit, I think. Alright. Fuck yeah. Off-road, hoverboards, flying cars, boats. Excellent. Excellent. They're coming for you, Mario. Look at that. Nice, nice. Excellent. That's awesome. I want this. Sonic Racing. Cool. Where's... Ooh, ooh. Cool.
Become unbound from the laws that govern reality. To turn the gears of time once again.
An apocalypse looms over parallel worlds. As their fates begin to intertwine, the battle to alter destiny begins. Embark on a journey alongside gods, heroes, and monsters of bygone eras. The anomalies, known as Digimon.
Blah, blah, boring. I mean, maybe it's awesome. I don't fucking know. It's just looks like
together. The story of a bond that transcends
Anthony, Monster Hunter, more the same. If you love it, it looks great. Shinobi 2D looks really good if you're into that kind of thing. Sonic Racing looks like a lot of fun. Digimon was just what you saw, so you just got here.
大家好，我是《输入之魂》的创作者杨斌。从一名独立开发者到今天与 PlayStation 携手，这一路走来已历经10年。《输入之魂》结合了流畅爽快的战斗体验与丰富多样的世界设计，玩家将在各具风格的场景中探索，面对充满个性的敌人。
Yeah, Film Gamer says the Digimon games are really good. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
接下来，我非常激动地向大家展示全新的游戏预告，并正式确认
But
游戏的。
I can't even make the time to play, you know, Metaphor Refantasio. So you know.
I keep having the same dream. A horrible dream.
I'm fingering
Where
myself,
monsters invade
but it's the
our
finger
world.
of Jimmy Hoffa, and it's been severed.
A powerful
What?
being falls from the
What?
sky.
Did you
And when
say
it seems
V8
they might
Warrior?
vanquish the invaders,
Jesus.
the dream ends. Is this really just a dream? My only hope lies with you.
Me?
Come, Kaiser. We will travel across worlds, leap through dimensions, together. I see great power within you, a destiny waiting to be fulfilled.
Right? It's just me. I mean, it looks nice, well made, but more of the same. More of the same.
The blade in your hand. You never wanted to be a hero.
Everybody wants
For
to be a hero.
humanity's sake, you must.
Then give me your power, Arena.
Bored of that. I've already forgotten it.
Hi everyone, I'm Sean Benson.
Hi, Sean
We've got
Benson.
several updates today from partners around the
Hello.
world, starting with news from the Like a Dragon series.
Hello.
First up, a playable demo
Yeah.
of Like a Dragon.
Yeah.
in
Okay,
Hawaii
that's good.
arrives on PS5 this
Excellent.
summer.
Nice.
Players could try out 2 battle styles, including Goro Majiba's new Sidon style, as well as engage in naval battles at the Pirates Coliseum.
Fuck yeah.
Sega and Mint Rocket joined forces in Ichiban's Holiday, a new crossover DLC coming to Dave the Diver.
Yeah. Dave the Diver.
Ichiban Kasuga and other
Awesome,
Like a Dragon
awesome.
characters team up to thwart a gang of troublemakers in
Goddamn
classic
right.
beat-em-up style, all while perfecting new recipes at
Oh,
Bancho
cool.
Sushi.
All right. All
Dave
right.
the Diver Ichiban's Holiday arrives this April on PS5 and PS4. The Splitgate 2 alpha begins February 27th on PS5. Use portals and futuristic physics to dominate the arena, and play a new 24-player mode where 3 teams compete on a massive map.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman. I'm here to give you an exclusive first look in the future of the WWE 2K franchise. Introducing the Island. With the Island, players enter an online environment filled with WWE-themed landmarks, quests, live events, and shops with up to 50 other players at a time. The Island
Can we fight
also offers
on the
deep
island
customization,
in the
giving players
streets?
the chance to personalize their My Superstars like never before. As the first of its kind for the franchise, the Island is not just an addition, it's a bold step toward the future. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Island.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. I mean, I want to know what you can do on the island. Oh god, no more Borderlands.
Sup? I'm Randy from Gearbox.
And I'm Randy from Gearbox.
And you know why we're here. We're here for you. Are you ready? It's 2025, and every day we are getting closer to the launch of Borderlands 4.
Let's go!
Wake up, right there! Come on! Wake up, man, I'm feeling it. Be my friend. Wake up, man, I'm feeling it like a punk. Don't wanna be like us. Don't wanna be like us. Don't wanna be like us. Wake up, man, I'm feeling like a Wake up and I'm feeling like a punk.
So badass, so much fun.
I want more.
We don't have to wait long now. Borderlands 4 is going to break free for a special state of play this spring, focused exclusively on Borderlands 4.
And we're diving deep, you guys. Join us. Borderlands 4, state of play for combat, vault hunters, action skills, exploration and discovery, everything. You're gonna see more guns than you can even count.
All on PlayStation 5, but Randy, do you have anything else for us?
I think I do, Randy.
Well, what is it? Don't hold out on me, Randy.
I'll feed you, baby bird. Who wants a launch date for Borderlands 4?
This Randy.
Well, Borderlands 4 launches worldwide for everyone on September 23rd, 2025.
We got work to do.
See you in spring.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but I really don't do small talk. Nice to meet you, too.
So you want to go through more of your crazy stories? My crazy stories? But how are we supposed to get out of here if we don't start to trust each other?
I don't need your trust.
Well, I kind of need yours.
Is that Mega Man? It's not. I know it's not.
I took inspiration for this story.
I'm
from when
excited
me
for
and my
this
sister
game,
were
but
younger.
I've already seen
Look
it.
at all of this. It's amazing.
I base the story around my dad. All I can do is write this silly story. Oh, we'll face it together. We got this.
Yeah. Follow my lead. Are you for real, Zoe? I wrote it when I was a kid. What sort of double child were you?
Hands above your head.
What now? Ah! I did not sign up for this! Brace yourself, Zoe! Attack!
I mean, I'm excited for that game. My trailer didn't do much for me. Ooh, what's happening? Oh, wait, I don't know what this is. No clue.
Status report. Looks like it penetrated through there. We need to inspect the hull damage first.
Doesn't look too bad.
Doesn't look too good either. What is that? You feeling all right?
My body's going one way and my mind's going another.
What is that? This ship is infected with an alien organism. It still doesn't feel real sometimes.
Never forget why you started. Lord have mercy.
Do you think Williams knows more about this substance than he's letting on? You can't take any chances with him.
It can manipulate its physical appearance. It's changing its cellular structure. It's replicating the human form. It's replacing us.
I know this will be difficult to hear, but if you're still out there, you deserve the truth.
I like Dark Pictures Anthology a great deal. That was a terrible trailer, though.
So let me explain the situation. One of our contractors, Edwin Murray, has gone missing, leaving our property abandoned in his warehouse. Your job is simple. Enter the warehouse and retrieve the technology that he was developing for us. It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character. We suspect it may be malfunctioning, so just be aware of the slim but non-zero
Oh yeah, Kronos looks a lot better, I agree.
sustained significant injuries while attempting to retrieve it, including but not limited to death or dismemberment. We fully expect the retrieval process to go smoothly and without incident. But just in case, we suggest you get your affairs in order before arriving.
Back to work.
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
Greetings from Moonhood. We're the creators of the Midnight Walk, cozy
Alright,
horror
good.
game created entirely in clay, where you will journey down a nightmarish highway riddled with terrors that want to devour you and your little lantern creature, Hot Boy.
Together with your little friend, you must outsmart these terrors and bring back fire to this mad world we've handcrafted for you.
So please enjoy this short gameplay preview.
After the end of the world, the Burnt One woke from a deep slumber.
Fire? I'd almost forgotten how it felt. You're the caretaker of this little firecracker? I reckon you must be headed for Moon Mountain. Am I right?
Close your eyes to make things clear.
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, visually.
Special thanks to Klaus and Olaf for that updated look at the Midnight Walk. Up next, a quirky new adventure from Konami. In Darwin's Paradox, you play as Darwin, a clever octopus who finds himself dumped near a highly suspicious food processing center. Use Darwin's natural camouflage and inking skills to escape the facility and save the world from aliens. We're excited to reveal a brand new title from Koei Tecmo Games and Omega Force. Warriors Abyss, a roguelite spin on the Warriors franchise. Descend into hell. Call on powerful allies. And experiment with tons of playstyle combinations to send the enemy hordes flying. A roguelite hell awaits when Warriors Abyss launches on PS5 and PS4 later today.
For whom are you working? I won't forgive you. Prepare yourself!
A PS2 era classic returns with Onimusha 2: Samurai's Destiny. Capcom is enhancing the original game with HD graphics and a host of quality of life features, including fine-tuned analog controls. Immerse yourself in Jubei's hard-boiled journey and fight through a world of turmoil alongside trusty allies. Onimusha 2: Samurai's Destiny comes to PS4 on May 23rd and will be available for pre-order later today. Looking to 2026, let's check out a new trailer for Capcom's latest entry in the series, Onimusha: Way of the Sword.
気合い入れてこいよ。
強さの証明だろ。勝てばそれでいい。てめえらごときがいくら束になってこようが。 気合い入れすぎだろ。
ご無事で何よりです。
お前、なんだ？
It's first spoken.
Colonel, tighten the security on this place. He's coming here, I'm sure of it. America is out to destroy the Shagohod and get its hands on your inheritance. The philosopher's legacy. Then they're out to kill me as well.
What's the story between you and the boss?
She was like a mother, and my master.
The Cobras will take care of him.
Do you hear me, Snake?
No, this is. They are in this an August release, I think.
A great and terrible fury at being alive. A host of sorrows. And you are one of them.
Why'd you come back? There's nothing for you here. Go home. Go back to your boss.
But I still have the Shagohod and the legacy. There is nothing America can do to stop us. I'm not finished yet!
When the fury of emotions sparks the wildfire of violence, it dissolves our illusions and exposes the fragile structure of reality.
I have 1,000 questions. Why did you come back?
I stood in the home I was born in. In that moment, I felt a connection.
Epsilon 11, sound off. Where are my men?
They're gone.
Choose your next move wisely.
What happened here?
Madness and hatred and lots of it. Impossible. It's you. We must continue. We've begun to uncover.
That looks cool. That looks cool. Liza P DLC.
How can it be winter all of a sudden?
I'm sorry. You want to know the year?
What a pleasure to meet a stalker worthy of the name. It's been far, far too long.
Cool.
Oh, my forever friend. Help me to hold your hand and dance.
You're not the puppet I was expecting. Who are you?
Blood
She was looking for someone. Legendary. She stepped up only because no one else could. Too many stalkers were lost to that evil.
I'll do whatever it takes. Your survival is all that matters. Nothing else comes close, not even my life. I swear I won't be late. Not again.
Awesome. Liza P was shit in a good way. That's great news.
Where do you think doors have eyes?
We don't know where our children will put down roots.
I don't know what this is, but this looks awesome. Cool. I'm into that. Hey, Ricardo, what's up, buddy? I did too. Love Liza P.
私の最新作ドリームオブサナザーはいかがだったでしょうか。破壊なくして想像はないというテーマのもと、ドリームオブサナザーではシューティングゲームの常識を覆す体験ができます。武器で傷つけたり破壊するのではなく、抽象化している散らばった世界を具体化して想像することができるのです。本作ではポイントクラウドというテクノロジーを採用し、プレイヤーは幻想的な夢の世界やダイナミックな変化を与えることができます。今年 PS5 登場予定で、本日からウィッシュリストへの追加ができます。ありがとうございました。
Hey everyone, I'm Kristen Zatani, and I'm excited to share even more PlayStation news in today's show.
Hello! Hey, there
Days
it
Gone
is.
Remastered,
Excellent.
the definitive version of Ben Studios'
Excellent.
post-apocalyptic open-world
Now
epic
we got a
with
show,
PS5
boys.
with VRR support and PS5 Pro support.
Now we got ourselves a show, my friends.
It also
Boom.
includes added content like permadeath and speedrun modes, an enhanced photo mode,
give a fuck
new
about that.
accessibility features, and Horde Assault.
I don't give a
survival
fuck about
arcade
that.
mode with increased horde sizes.
Did you
that
get
provide
rid of the
a
golf
fresh way
cart?
to
That's all I
experience
care
Days Gone.
about. This is a great game. I love this
And if
game.
you purchase Days Gone on PlayStation 4, you can upgrade to a digital version of Days Gone Remastered and get all the content and features for $10.
I will play this again. I never finished it.
Days
I
Gone
loved it.
Remastered launches on PS5
Excellent.
April 25th.
Great game, you guys. Hopefully people will give it a shot.
New DLC is coming to Stellar Blade this June.
There you
The
go.
sci-fi action game is partnering with Goddess of Victory Nike on a new boss battle, collectible dolls and stickers, plus a new outfit.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about that, but
Both
the
the
game,
Nike
not
DLC
the game, but
and the PC version of Stellar Blade launch this June.
I will get it on PC though.
We've got some great PlayStation Plus updates today, starting with game catalog titles arriving on February 18th.
Excellent.
Star
The
Wars
show's
Jedi
picked
Survivor,
up.
Top Spin 2K25,
It's
and
picked
launching in
up.
a game catalog,
Ooh,
Lost
Lost
Records,
Worlds.
Bloom and
Okay.
Rage, from the creators of Life is Strange.
Good. Good. Now I'm excited.
Girls ever
I'm excited for this game.
weird around these parts.
Tech Protect, if
In
you're
this
watching
episodic
this,
adventure,
tell my
players will join
child
4
that
high
is
school
with
girls
you
living
there.
through the defining
I
summer of
think
their
she will
lives.
dig this because she liked Life is
What
Strange.
begins as a tale of friendship will eventually blend reality, dreams, and the unknown into a dual timeline narrative.
I still want mixtape more,
The
but
first
I'm
episode of
excited.
Lost Records, Bloom and Rage arrives February 18th, with the second episode arriving in April.
What do you mean it's the end of the show? What are you talking about?
We're also excited to confirm 2 unique indie titles that will launch into game catalog later this year. Explore a mysterious mansion and Blueprints, a genre-bending architectural
Blueprints
adventure.
is very, very cool. I've been hearing about it for 2 years.
Every door is a new decision as you build out a sprawling manor with 45 shifting rooms, adding layers of strategy, puzzles, and exploration.
Excellent.
Blueprints launches day 1 into game catalog this
There
spring.
you go. That's good, right? PlayStation got it going on for a bit.
Abiotic Factor is a 6-player survival crafting game from Playstack and Deep Field Games. Stranded miles beneath the surface, you and a team of scientists must craft ingenious gear and traps to outwit your enemies and make this bizarre underground complex your new home. Abiotic Factor will be available in game catalog when it launches this summer.
That 2-day ones for PS Plus.
Now
That's
let's get a
great.
sneak peek at games coming to the PlayStation Plus Classics catalog. Coming soon are the first 3 Armored Core titles from the original PlayStation: Armored Core Project Phantasma, and Armored Core Master of Arena. Meanwhile, Patapon 3 slides its way into the Classics catalog next week.
What this?
No one knows how that world came into being.
Why not? Why don't they know?
It devoured everything from the past.
Well, it should get on the Ozempic.
Only
They
I
don't
was
eat as
left.
much. Who's this girl?
That was a fatal mistake.
Oh no, it's a good-looking woman. What will Grums do? Grums, what will you have to complain about?
It's the aura of the Grail pieces. I can sense it.
And there's a cute one. Grums, what's happening? Are you all right?
My wish can be fulfilled.
911, I need you to send a health check to Grums's house.
To pursue one's wishes is
Ooh,
to court one's
look.
doom.
Hot chick on cool adventure? I'm in. This is great. What is this? I mean, yeah, she has to summon a guy to do all the work, but, you know, it's still.
Holy Grail. Blood. This is a feast only for the king. You can't escape from your doomed fate.
Gwendolyn?
A third one! Grums's head! Breaking news has just exploded.
My quarrel lies not with you, but I will take back everything that belongs to me.
Grums, guess what? They're all white. They're all Caucasians, Grums. What is happening? Tides of Annihilation. The destruction of Grums's grift.
The table is dead. It exists no more.
Well, blood and robots. Of course, I'm interested. Look at the little man living inside the robot.
How do you feel?
I feel better now that the show isn't shit.
Is something bothering you?
No, always.
Just some noise in my core.
Is this Destiny? What is this?
Deep down in the depths of Vulcan.
I'm sorry, did he just say deep down in the depths? I'm not sure if he's obsessed with alliteration or redundancy.
You know I would never want to see you hurt. But
I don't think this is a marathon, is it? No. I mean, it might be. I don't fucking
I
know.
remember you.
Run away.
Metal Eden. Hello.
Oh yeah. My memory's still a bit blurry.
Build a rocket, boy. Welcome. I think my Ritalin kicked in, can you tell? Isn't that nuts, man? Isn't that nuts?
Showtime.
Either that or the show actually got better. Was it always this good?
Gaps inside my head.
Satellite gives us a 10-minute window.
Sign the contract.
That's just leftover hardware. It's been decommissioned.
There's no God of War. It's still going on. Let the show marinate. Let it percolate.
All I know is that Silvercorp is a piece of my story. I'll cover you. All this time you just wanted answers about the tech in your head? Are you kidding me? This thing has ruined my life. You have no idea who you're dealing with. What you did.
I like this. It's like Space Fast and the Furious.
This is not the first time we've had a
What is
fatal error
this?
with your tech.
What is
Make it
this?
stop! Make it stop!
I like this. I like this.
I know what I have to do. This is the only way.
Scream? MindsEye. I like that. What's this now? There's some good games coming out. Maybe. I don't know if they're good or not.
Hello, I'm Leslie Benzies.
Hello,
Director
Leslie.
of MindsEye.
Hello.
Builder Rocket Boy's new action-adventure
Hello,
set in the
Leslie.
fictional city of Red Rock, where
Yes.
AI and human greed collide
Yes,
to bring Earth to the precipice of collapse. All captured on PlayStation 5 Pro.
True.
We're now proud to share some
Proud.
gameplay footage with the explosive combat and high-octane driving that you can expect on PlayStation 5 later this year.
I wonder which one of these, if any, are exclusive.
What's going on in there?
It was an ambush.
Isn't this one of the Grand Theft Auto guys?
Lose her. Tires are out.
I love this. I love this. Because I love the theme. I don't get a lot of games like this that feel like modern action movies, but future. And you've got the driving, but you've got the spaceship and all that stuff. Space shit, sci-fi shit. Yeah, I'm into that. I'm into that. I don't mean a Hauser. I mean, I think he worked on one of the things. All right, here we go. Ghost of Yodi Yodi. Ghost of Pickle My Nipple. What? Shut up, RPG. What are you saying that for? Okay. Who are you? Why are you lying there? Are you Death Stranding man? Are you Helldivers man?
This world, this moment,
Who are you?
this choice.
You're a Helldiver. With your gun and your trench coat and your stupid necklace. You're a fool. My Ritalin has kicked in.
Dies. Madness reigns.
Look at the hand.
Everything begins again.
What is this? Is this Corey's game?
But after every death,
Is that you, Corey Barlog?
come back
With your
stronger.
beard, your obsession for beards.
I know
Is that a
you
brown
are,
eye?
and I will find you.
Look at the eyeball. Look at the twirling of the eyeball. Boom! George Saros. What is this? I don't know what that is. It looks fine. I don't really... Housemark. That's nice. I love Housemark. All right. I don't know what the fuck the game is, but Come Back Stronger. Is this a fucking Rogue thing? Is this a sequel? This is a sequel to, isn't that thing he was wearing on his thing the same company that woman worked with?
Hey everyone, I'm Gregory
In,
Loudon, creative
Returnal?
director at Housemark. We are thrilled to announce that our latest game, Saros, is launching next year on PS5, and enhanced for PS5 Pro. Saros is the ultimate evolution of the Housemarque gameplay first experience. It's a new single-player IP that builds on Returnal's award-winning third-person action. You play Arjun Devraj, performed by the brilliant Rahul Kohli. Arjun is a powerful enforcer searching for answers on a hostile, shape-shifting planet haunted by an ominous eclipse. All of us at Housemarque can't wait to
You
share
better
more about
fucking make
Saros,
it
with our first
accessible.
look at gameplay coming later this year.
Accessible, Housemarque. Hey, whoever's the Sony executive on this goddamn thing, don't fucking make the Returnal mistake. That's it? That's it? You bet. No. Oh, come on. Come on. Come on. That was terrible. Now, all right, let's discuss. Let's talk to people. I think I know, by the way, while we're buffering, I'm looking in my I'm using way too much memory for what I'm doing. So there's got to be something happening with Chrome. I'll solve it for the next stream. But in the meantime, let's discuss that show, my dear friends. We've been bamboozled. We've been hoodwinked. We've been Plymouth rocked. I'm going to open up the Discord if people want to call in. I'll tell you what I think about the show. I didn't think it was great. I thought they had some moments. Don't say you wasted an hour, half an hour of your life, Milkmaster. You got to spend it here with your pals. You got to spend it here with your goddamn cockadoodie pals. So I'm going to go into the room on the Discord, the call-in show. If you want to call in, let me know what you think, what you thought of the show. Let's roll it back. We'll put the so you won't be making noisy noise. I'll walk you through the games. I'll tell you what I think, what I thought. Okay. And Tech Protect, if you're there and you want to put yourself in the call-in waiting room, that would be great. Okay. They open with Monster Hunter Wilds. I played the beta. There's a beta going on right now. Great. I mean, if you love Monster Hunter Wilds, I have every assumption that you'll love, or the old Monster Hunters, you'll love this one. I'm just fucking tired of looking at it, you know? In fact, here, let's do that again. Let's do that again because we're going to edit this into a video. So, but you guys can call in, give me your thoughts if you want. Tech Protect, where are you? Tech Protect. All right. Let's pretend we're shooting the video, but you know. Well, we just got done watching the PlayStation State of Play. Overall, I thought it was okay. Let's go through the games. I'm watching it right now with the chat. And I don't know. I don't know what their rating would be. In fact, Tech Protect, why don't you put up a poll in the chat there, and let's give them A through F, and let's see if what people thought. Can you put up a poll, Tech Protect, in the chat, A, B, C, D, and F, and let the audience rate it? Tech?
I cannot because I'm only an editor on your channel, so I can't do stuff like that in the YouTube chat.
Are you sure Hector Howell can do it, and doesn't have all the permissions you got?
No, he can. Can he?
Yeah, he does it when we play D&D all the time.
Wait, on his channel, right?
No, it's on my channel. Fuck it, I'll do it. I'll do the work. I'll do the work. No, I'll do it.
No, it doesn't allow me.
No, I'll do it. I'll do it.
I don't have to
rate the show. I'll do it.
Give me the access.
Oh, no. I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. A, B, C, D. Okay, well, we don't have an option for an F. We only have 4. It wasn't an F, though. So anybody who's saying it's an F is trolling anyway. All right, so the poll's at the top. So we just watched it. It opened with Monster Hunter Wilds. I would say, I played the beta Monster Hunter Wilds. I thought that was great for what it was, but I've just never made the time to really engage enough with the game to care. But my guess is that if you love Monster Hunter in general, you're going to love Wild. So they open with that, whatever, not much to say on that. If you want to play the beta, by the way, it's out right now on PlayStation. Then they moved over to Shinobi 2D, which is the thing coming from Sega. The guys who did Streets of Rage 4 did this. I think this looks, it's Shinobi. That's cool. There's some neat little stylistic moments. You can ride the hoverboard. There's something you're about to see where they do a weird kind of split screen and you're fighting in the middle of the split screen. So like that, I don't know if that's a special move or they actually are letting you fight on that. Overall, though, I like this kind of game. I like the developer. I like the legacy of the brand, so I'll play it. But there's nothing about this that made me go, oh my God, that's amazing. Right? It's just like, okay, looks like a cool, fun indie game on Steam and, cool, coming out in August. Then they moved on to Sonic Racing. This was the first game that made me perk up my ears. I don't know who the developer of this is. Sumo usually does the Sonic Racing games, and they are usually excellent. And so this one looks like it's going to give us that back. You've got cars, you've got hoverboards, you can transform into flying, waterboards, and it looks like they're doing, at least from the trailer, something with the SSD where you're able to sort of warp into new locations almost instantly that you'll see right here. Like, do you want to go right? Do you want to go left? Does he change the track for everyone, just for you? I don't know. But I'm into this. I'm excited for this. If anybody watching right now knows who developed this, please let me know, because I want to say Sumo's kind of, I don't know if they're working on other people's IP anymore. There's been some real change there recently, but I think it's a great trailer. And you know what? I worked with the guy who's the president of Sega now. He was excellent. He was a PlayStation consultant. What was the guy's name? Shuji. Wonderful executive, wonderful game executive. He is now running Sega. And I will tell you that I think people's excitement for Sega that we're starting to see, not just in the movies, but in the games, is probably at least meaningfully because he is now there running the show, which is excellent. So I don't know who's doing this one, but I'm excited for it. We'll see what happens. Sonic Team, it just says. Okay. Then we moved on to Digimon. Whatever. I'm not a fucking 4-year-old. I don't give a fuck about Digimon. I know people like it. Like I said to the chat that we're saying, no, the Digimon games are usually good. That's great. I can barely make I haven't even made the time to play Persona or Metaphor Refantasio. So I'm certainly not going to be playing an RPG like this that is not even top of the pop. So, whatever. But if you're into that, great. Then they showed this thing, Lost Soul Aside. And it's weird because there are some other games coming up in the state of play that I like that you'd say, well, why was this one different, Jaffe? Like they showed Liza P DLC. And even if it wasn't Liza P, which had the pedigree, it just looks more interesting. Maybe it's the enemy design, maybe it's the moves, but this just looks like generic. I've seen this, I've played this so many goddamn fucking times that this did absolutely nothing for me. By the way, right now, I'll let you know where the poll is. Right now, we are sitting at a C. 39% of you think it was a C show. 29% think it was a D show. 21% think it was a B. 10% think it was an A. We'll see where that ends up at the end. Okay, so that's Lost Soul Aside, coming out in May. I have no interest in this at all. I'm very excited that Like a Dragon demo is coming out the 21st, which is this week. The pirate Hawaii fucking thing looks batshit. Can't wait for this. And also, Dave the Diver, one of my favorite games the last 10 years, is getting what looks to be really cool DLC with this goddamn guy. What's his name? Ichiban or something. That's pretty cool. And it's not just Dave the Diver content, but it looks like there's Streets of Rage and shit like that. So I'm excited for that. That's really good. Then they showed Splitgate 2, which I played once or twice. I thought it was fun. There's a beta coming this month. I'll try it. It's 3v3v3, which I think is always fun when you can do that. So, it's basically Portal with guns. If you didn't play the first one, you should. It plays better than it has any right to, and this one looks pretty good as well. So, then they showed WWE 2K, The Island. Now, this is interesting to me because I like these games. I'll be picking up this game. But he's going in about the island, which looks like you and 50 other people. It's like PlayStation Home, but it's the WWE universe in terms of like the way it's decked out, that you can customize your character. It looks like you can have like exhibition matches. I don't know all the stuff you're going to get to do in this social hub, but I love the brand and I love stuff like this if it's cool. So I'm looking forward to hearing more about this. But I don't really, they didn't reveal too much. He did say something that made me wonder. He's like, it's not just the new game, it's the future of the WWE interactive brand or something like that, which makes me wonder, are they just going to kind of like what Fortnite is doing with Disney? Are they going to keep building this out over time and pretty much make like a WWE virtual universe, which would be fucking awesome, man. Fucking awesome. Okay, then we moved on to, and look, I wouldn't say I'm a friend of the guy because I don't spend much time with him. But did you know, by the way, I read an article yesterday. There's a study done that said how many hours you need to spend with someone in physical proximity before you consider them an acquaintance, a friend, and a close friend. And I think they said a close friend you have to spend like 200 hours with. But regardless, Randy Pitchford, I've barely spent more than 20 minutes in real life with, but I've always liked him. Seems like a nice guy. I thought this little thing he did with this other Randy was super stupid and cringe. And embarrassing, but so what? I do embarrassing stuff every day, twice a day, 5 days a week here on the show. Borderlands, your mileage will vary. You do with it what you want. I've never really kind of lost my shit with it, but I know a lot of people love it. So, that's coming out soon. Split Fiction. And by the way, I'll tell you in just 1 second, Keely's got a similar poll running about what people thought of the show. I'll tell you in a second where his numbers are. I think this looks cool. I loved It Takes Two. I like what they've shown here. I didn't care for this trailer too much, but I'll be playing this day one when it comes out next month. I think I love their game, so I'm there. But as a trailer goes, this looked pretty generic. Not in terms of what you're doing, but just kind of the tone. It's like, been there, done that, whatever. Then they showed a new game from the Dark Pictures anthology, which is great. I love their games. I will play this. Absolutely terrible trailer. All this is like The Thing in space is what it looks like. But they were presenting a trailer as if what they were showing every couple of shots was like, we were supposed to go, whoa. And it was just like, okay, I've seen, this is just nothing but trope sci-fi. At least in the trailer. So the trailer did nothing for me, but the pedigree of the team is enough to have me interested. Then I literally wanted to jump out of a window because it's another fucking Five Nights at Freddy's game. I don't give a fuck about that. They can go fuck themselves. I'm not saying those are bad games at all. They've never appealed to me. I don't get the big deal. I know they're for kids, so let's move on with our goddamn lives. Then they showed this, which was creepy as fuck. I don't know why, but this made me very uncomfortable. Watch this. Thank you for being a valued member. Watch these two guys. Watch these two guys.
Greetings from Moonhood. We're the creators of the Midnight Walk.
Now, there's two things that are coming up. This guy's going to do something very strange with his little puppet, and then this guy's going to just freeze, almost like Mitch McConnell when he's giving a press conference. Watch this.
Cozy horror game created entirely in clay, where you will journey down a nightmarish highway riddled with terrors that want to devour you and your little lantern creature, Hot Boy. Together with your little friend, you must outsmart.
Now watch, he's about to freeze. He's about to freeze.
Fire to this mad world we've handcrafted for you. So please enjoy this short gameplay preview.
He's just not moving. It's like he died. Anyway, I don't know what the game is. It looks like some, you got to be careful with games like this because remember Scorn on Xbox? It looked amazing, but it ended up being the most boring game you could play. This could be that or not, but visually, of course, it looks delightful. It looks excellent. It's an incredibly cool looking game. I'll have to wait and see how it actually plays. But the visuals for the Midnight Walk continue to impress. I am interested. Now, next was Darwin's Paradox, a game from Konami where you play, an octopus that can do octopus things. Maybe it'll be great. I don't fucking know. It's kind of like, looks like a cross between Oddworld and that submarine game that Insomniac did a couple years back. So, JJD says, be happy for things, Jaffe. Midnight Walk looks cool. I'm not happy for things. I literally just said that it looked really good, and if it plays as good as it looks, I'm interested. But I've been around the block. It ain't my first rodeo. And in that not being my first rodeo, I can tell you I've seen game after game after game that have a brilliant art style that after 20 minutes that wears off and you're left with generic slop. So I think what I'll do is be patient and allow my experience to marinate over my experience today and use that to determine when the happy buttons get pressed. Thank you very much. Now, Rogue Warriors is out today. That was their big shadow drop, I guess. This is coming from Koei Tecmo. It is interesting. I get very bored by the big Koei games. I always forget the Misu games or whatever, right? I like them, but I get bored. I played Hyrule Warriors for the most, but even that got me bored. But the idea of putting a rogue element into this, where there is this nice big meta over it, that could be really, really interesting. So it's out today, depending on what they want to charge for it. Maybe there's a demo. I'll look into it. Then they showed us Onimusha 2 that will be out later this year, the remaster. I loved the first Onimusha 2. I'm excited for the remake. I love this series. They showed us Onimusha Way of the Sword, which is the new one coming out in 2026. I thought it looked fine. Nothing special. I mean, it's Onimusha, so I'm excited. But if this was not called Onimusha, I would just go, meh, okay. It looks fine. It looks a little goofier than Onimusha usually in terms of the character, in terms of his points and things like that. I don't know if Miyamoto Musashi is a famous actor. They do that on a lot of the Onimushas. They get a real actor that's famous, usually in Japan, but sometimes France, like Jean Reno. Maybe that's a big dude. I couldn't tell you. It looks fine. It looks fine. Then they showed Metal Gear Solid Delta. We know that's coming out in August. I'm excited for this game, but we've seen this trailer before. Do with it what you will. It looks great. Looks like Kojima. Now, speaking of Kojima, then they showed this trailer. And I don't know if I've ever seen a trailer for this game, but at first we were all like, is this a Kojima game? It's not. It's called Hell Is Us, and it looks really cool. This looks like what I wish Kojima would do these days, which is be weird and quirky and strange, but also make a commercial title, which I haven't experienced from him in Death Stranding. And so this actually feels like Kojima caring if his games sell or not, but it still has the weird Kojima shit. So I'm excited for this one. I don't know who the developer is. I don't know, if they've got the chops to pull this off or it's just a great trailer, but this so far, really neat IP. It almost looks like what I thought Death Stranding was gonna be in terms of gameplay. Yeah, it has Death Stranding vibes, says JJD, and there's Mark Zuckerberg, I guess. So, that looks totally right out of Snake Eater with the dead people and shit in the swamp. So I'm interested in this. This is called Hell Is Us. Comes out, I think, this year. Is it Rogue Factor, Nacon? I don't know who the fuck these people are. When's it coming? Let's see. September of this year. Okay. Then they showed us some Lies of P DLC, which I'm excited for. Makes me need to go back and finish the first Lies of P, of course. But this is where the show started to pick up with Hell Is Us and then this. Because unlike that Lost Eden game or Lost Soul Aside game or whatever it was called, one could say, well, Jaffe, how is this that different from that? And my answer is, I don't really know. Except maybe it's the character designs, maybe it's the combat, maybe it's the monsters. Like you're about to see this big ball and chain cement guy. The environment location looks different. This thing looks weird. So it's got a very similar kind of Souls gameplay, but there seems to be a real interesting imagination at work in the Lies of P universe compared to what we were looking at earlier in Lost Soul Aside. So, and also it has the benefit of being DLC for one of the great games that came out that year. So this I'm excited about, and this is where the show started to pick up the pace. Then we got then we got Pixel Junk's new game, Dreams of Another, which I don't know if I'm going to like it or hate it. But I know it looks fucking cool as shit, and it seems like it's got a neat vision, and it's like an arty-farty reverse shooter thing. It definitely seems like an individual singular vision. It's got a neat look. I'm interested. I'm super fucking interested in giving this a shot. I don't know what it is, but you have my attention. Lost Souls was made by a solo dev, says a cab. Well, then it should be more creative. It may not need to be as polished, but you would imagine if it's one person that has no limits on people saying yes or no, they would fucking blow their fucking wad and give you their dreams. And instead, it's just like generic stuff. Jonas says, this looks garbo. What do you mean this looks garbo? Dreams of Another. It looks cool. Shut up. Now, Days Gone Remaster. They announced next. I really liked Days Gone. I never finished it. It was a little too long for me. It'll only cost you $10 if you already own the version of it. I will be picking this up. I will be playing it again. Thought it was a great game. It went too long. The golf cart scene needs to go fuck itself. I hope there's an option to remove it. But great game. I'm thrilled they're remastering it. I don't really understand why they're remastering it, because this is a game they didn't want to make a sequel to. So why in the fuck are they going to remaster it if they don't want to keep it moving? Maybe they're going to make a movie out of it. I don't fucking know. The point is, I'm a fan. I'm looking forward to that. Then they showed Stellar Blade DLC, which, you know, I got a little confused because on one hand they talked about new costumes and a photo mode. I don't know if this also includes new levels, but I will finally be getting it when it drops on PC. In June, and I'll be playing it. So they got some DLC coming like that. So that's pretty good. There's no Bloodborne, though. We saw no God of War. We'll talk about that in a minute. They showed Lost Records is coming, which is great, to the game catalog, PS Plus, Bloom and Rage. I'm looking forward to that. I like games like that from the guys that made Episode 1, from the guys that made Life is Strange. Then they showed Blueprints, and this is great. There were 2 games coming to PlayStation Plus day one. I'm not saying they're becoming Game Pass, but this is the shit that these guys need to be doing if they want to compete with Game Pass, and maybe they don't. Maybe they don't care. But the point is, I'm glad this is coming. It's not day one, but it's very recently released. It's coming this week, next week. And then this game has been making the rounds at a bunch of shows, and every journalist that's played it has said this game is really fucking weird and cool. This is Blueprints, and this is coming day one. And I think it looks really interesting, and everyone who's played it says it's really, really fucking cool. Addie Pie says, who wants the sappy rom-com crap talking about Lost Records? I do. I like all kinds of games. I'm not a fucking, single-celled organism that can only like one thing. This is day one as well. I don't know anything about it. I don't really care about it. It's not my cup of tea, but it's day one. That's nice to see. Then we got into this. This is called, they're bringing Armored Core. Okay, this looked cool. This was Tides of Annihilation. It had lots of sexy women. It had lots of sexy white women. I was like, hey, Grums has nothing to complain about. There were 3 of them. The gameplay itself looks like, Lost Soul aside, another one of those sort of generic fast Souls kind of thing. But it's got a cool look. It's got sexy ladies. So I'm curious. I'm interested. And they're sexy ladies, and they got cool camera perspectives. Like looks like there might be some platforming where we pull back the camera and she's going up around this cylinder and stuff. And it seems like it's going to be a little bit more than just combat. So I don't know much about this yet. Maybe it's more like a Devil May Cry structure, but I'm interested. I'm very interested in learning more about this game here called Tides of Annihilation. Look at that. I like that. And then we got another blonde lady, but I think she's the bad guy. But that's okay. But yeah, there is also a big sense of genericism. Kevin says, I'll be honest, these games and their art style blur together. Yeah, there is a generic aspect to this. But I think because it looks like it's more than just combat and it also has sexy ladies, I'll give it a look. I don't think it's like Bayonetta, though. I don't think it's a Bayonetta thing. I don't think it's that much about... I mean, just from looking at it, it seems like it's more than really all in on the combat only. It seems like it's more exploration and stuff, but I don't know. Then we had a couple of good games back to back, all of these third party. We had something called Metal Eden, which I thought looked pretty cool. Metal Eden is, it's like some sci-fi fucking thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but there you go. That was decent. Not bad. Then they showed this game, MindsEye, which is from one of the early GTA guys. And I think this looks really cool. It definitely doesn't look like the most blisteringly brilliant AAA game in the world, but I like the tone of it. I like that you've got this kind of racing, Fast and the Furious action movie feel with kind of a sci-fi future feel. I think that's really neat. And so I definitely want to know more about this. You can flying, you're shooting missiles at buildings, you've got car chases. It's almost got like a Terminator 2 kind of thing going on in terms of its tone. And then they show us a little more in a second. Let's see. I think we see. Here's this guy. He looks like somebody. Oh, you know, he looks like Roy Kent from Ted Lasso. Fuck. Okay, then we go and see. You know, you got this kind of cool, like modern day shootouts in the streets, but then it gets into Blade Runner shit. So I like that flavor. I like that idea. So I'm interested in that. And then they close with the George Soros game. I don't know if it's a spiritual sequel, if it's set in the world of Returnal, but it's Housemarque's new game, comes out next year. I don't know if that guy's patch ties him into the world of Returnal because I don't remember. I hope very much that these guys are able to make this game more user-friendly, because I thought Returnal was great, but it was tuned terribly. And if you're a goddamn fucking executive at Sony and you let these guys do that fucking shit again, and you take a goddamn gravy train of a game and they fuck it up, going, no, it's got to be roguelike. It's got to be blisteringly hard. No, don't be fucking stupid, Sony. Make a mode for those people. They are not the majority of your audience. All you have to do is look at the sales of Returnal and you'll know that. Okay? You know, look, here's what you guys thought. 29, okay, only 10% of you guys thought. I'll end the poll. Returnal was too hard for you, says a cab. It's too hard for most people. We had 10% of you guys gave it an A. 20% of you guys gave it a B. 29% of you guys gave it a D. 39% of you guys gave it a C, the majority. If you go over to Keeley's poll, let's see if his audience is like you guys. Pretty much, well, almost. 8% gave it an A, 25% gave it a B. A D was the majority at 36, and then C at 30-ish, 29.5. So, it was fine, you know. It's hard to know. There was a lot of third-party stuff, or you don't know how much of that's going to be exclusive. I don't think this was a particularly strong show for these guys. I think there's definitely some good games. Like I think there's two ways to look at this show. If you look at this show and you say, I have a PlayStation, is there going to be stuff to play on my PlayStation? I think the answer is yeah, of course. You know, don't worry, you're good. You haven't wasted your money. But I think if you look at this show and go, did this show plant a flag for PlayStation and going, these motherfuckers are back with original games that you can only play on PlayStation that are either technical showpieces, gameplay showpieces, anything like that? No. And I think that's, you know, and now we have to hear people online, I'm sure, going, oh, well, this was a third-party thing for the most part. You have to wait. Trust me, I have rumors that say in 3 months we'll be getting more of a first-party showcase. And maybe we will. But these guys are nuts, man. Sony, listen. They're doing a dumb, terrible job when it comes to hyping the audience up. You are. I don't care. You hate PlayStation, Jaffe. You're just salty. I'm not salty. I just like what I like. And right now, Sony seems to be the most boring first party content out there. I'm not saying they don't have some amazing shit going on behind the scenes. I'm sure they do. They're brilliant people over there. But, you know, Jesus, guys, fucking, you know, dazzle me, surprise and delight me. Fuck. Make me interested. Make me want to go, oh, I can't wait for that. Come on, you gotta agree. That wasn't a very impressive show as it relates to that. trying to get people excited. It was a great show if you're like, hey, is there going to be more games? Yeah, you'll be fine. That's what I would say. All right. That's exhausting what I just did. I talked the whole time. Can you believe I talked the whole time, Tech Protect? I do want to be wined and dined in 69 metaphorically by these showcases. You goddamn right.
You did it.
I did it.
You did it. Woo!
Anthony says,
Hell
sadly,
yeah.
I agree. Sony is showing shit. They're not even showing the games they have. JJD says, agreed. Didn't need to be a live stream.
That's a video.
Yeah.
We got a video out of that one.
We got a video out of that one. Go cut it today.
Yeah. Super chat's waiting.
We have super chat. I don't even see him coming in. You said you're going to stream Avowed tomorrow, Kevin. Not tomorrow night. I'm going to stream it in the morning. It goes live tomorrow morning for early access folks. So let's see. Vote D. It sucks, says Tech Protect. Fuck you. But thank you, buddy. Yeah, come on. Kevin Sal says, what's your position on the Bat Vigilante in Gotham? Well, here's what I think, Kevin. I think it's awful. I think it's terrible. People take the justice into their own fucking hands. But I think vigilantes arise when there's a need for them to arise, which suggests that Gordon, for all of his well wishes and all of his great intentions, is incapable of doing the job. There would be no reason for the Batman. There would be no reason for Gotham Girl to be here if it was true that Gordon could actually pull off what he said he could pull off. I know we're supposed to hate Dent right now, but Dent, like Trump, actually gets shit done. And I'm sorry, Kevin, but that's the way it is.
You don't think the Batman himself is just eliminating competition, and he himself is also a villain out there?
I think I think that could be happening too. What happens if he eliminates Clayface and Scarecrow, and suddenly he's the only one standing? Who's going to control the streets now? It ain't going to be Gordon.
It's going to be Batman.
It's going to be Batman.
He's going to take the market. He's just eliminating competition early.
Take a business 101 class, Gotham News, and you won't even ask me your stupid question.
Thanks, Kevin. So,
Yeah,
Xiao?
Xiao.
Have you ever pronounced his last name, or has he ever told you?
I haven't cared to care. He's Kevin. In my mind, he's Kevin. It's Kevin the ass. Kevin the ass. All right. Look, here's what we're going to do. Yes, I will be playing Avowed tomorrow morning. I'm excited for it. And we will be doing a stream coming up in about an hour and a half. There is more game news. So we'll be doing that and or playing games tonight. But I'll probably be game news because there's actually a lot to talk about. I did not think this was a very good show. I'm kind of disappointed in this show. Let's actually, while you're still here, let's go to the... Let's go to NeoGAF and Reset Era. Let's see what they thought. They like to put up ratings and shit. Rate State of Play, February 12th. Here we go. Let's see what they said. View results. Majority of them said it was trash, but that's trolling. So let's go D and C is really kind of the second majority. Yeah, okay, that's the consensus there. Let's go over to Reset Era. Let's see what those guys think about what we just watched. How would you rate the State of Play? A little more positive. Well, E. So 14% gave it an F. But C and D is the majority. It sounds like most people... were just like, not very whelmed, or they were underwhelmed, but let me check. Let me see if we got any more thoughts from people. State of Play. Let's go to Twitter. That's where all the cool kids hang out. Mad disappointing. And they're going to do a whole State of Play surrounding Borderlands 4. What the actual fuck? What does this mean? Tech comparación de los otros State of Play. See? What is that?
Comparison of other states of play. So previous shows.
Other than Ape Escape Easter egg, that State of Play sucked balls. This guy hasn't had a chance to watch it. Let's see what people thought. C's and D's, although there's only 2 votes. I watched State of Play. This person says, I think they presented the same game 5 times. There's no way that was the State of Play. Rockstar, okay, no, let's see. This guy gave it a 7 out of 10. That's good. State of Plays are the perfect showcase of upcoming games. Showcases are the ones they show new ones. Speaking of which, we are due a showcase. What? People were really hoping for God of War remasters and other insane shit, but it was your average State of Play. Right? Surprise and delight, Sony. That's your job. You're in the entertainment business. Where was Resident Evil 9? I expected that, not at this show, but this guy liked it. Brobo Bane says State of Play was pretty cool. He liked Monster Hunter, Dave the Diver, Five Nights at Freddy's, The Midnight Walk, Split Fiction. Overall hype, 5 out of 10. Still a good watch. Yeah, it wasn't great. What do the big sites think about it? Let's go to what do we who would be talking about this? Let's go to YouTube. Let's see what the YouTubers are saying. Let's see. All right, PlayStation event. Let's watch a couple of seconds of Luke Stevens. What's he say?
To be like, no, the game is real. Look, it's playing on a PS5 right there. You can see it. Boot it up, play it.
Yeah, but what
like
you
that,
think?
Just that frame drop. Watch that. Granted, it's in development. They don't.
No, I don't care about the frame drop. I care about what did you think of the show?
This though was.
Here we go. Here we go.
Shifting, saving stuff for.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Let's see what he thought.
Is that it? Oh, that's it. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. Okay. Huh. I'm sorry. The whole event kind of had this could have been an email energy.
Okay,
You
so
know
he
what
was.
I mean?
Yeah,
like-
so he wasn't too impressed. Okay. Who else we got? Who's this guy? JKB. Oh, I was on this guy's show. This is the guy with Tech Protect. No, Richard.
I'm not going to shit on Mario Heat.
Let's see.
All right, I'm hearing a lot of things.
Tory make.
Watermelon.
Quitting.
Yeah, good guy. This guy.
Banana.
851, which is fucking amazing after 1 year. Thank you guys. But I think it would be more if he quits the show.
Come on, man. I want to know about the.
Involve you.
What did you think of the show?
From a deep slumber.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just sounds. All right, so I got a list of everything that was shown today on the announced, the State of Play. Let me just show you guys something here.
Yeah.
Let me just show you something quick here. State of Switch. Yeah, the Switch 2 is now looking really good. Monster Hunter Wilds.
No.
We get a new monster. Shinobi.
No. I don't care about any of this. Just overall, what was your take?
I'm seeing if he wants
Yeah,
to
I mean,
join the Discord call to
that was-
talk about it.
Well, he's doing his own show.
List, I'll go back to
Yeah,
it
you
in a
both can
second.
do your own show while talking about it. That's what you guys are doing right now.
If you look at the list, guys, previously announced new reveal. So we got character design.
I'm not
in
being
that
rude.
game.
I just want to get. I have ADD. I want to get to the meat.
Games Fantasy Worlds. Sick throwback game, man. That looks like Devil May Cry meets God. The characters look attractive. It only took 4 years. So that's my game of the show. Other than that, like, this was embarrassing.
There you go. See.
So
I agree.
Saros or whatever it's called, they showed last, which looks like a direct sequel to Returnal. That's just a trailer. It's not coming out for a year.
All right. So he wasn't a fan. Let's see who else is on. I'm just trying to see if there's any positive spin on this that we should be like, interesting. Somebody said, who should I look up? You said Asmongold. I'm not being rude. I'm just, does he even do this live? He may not even do it live. I don't know if he actually plays games. He might play games. He plays games here. All right, who else is doing live? Let's go to live. Oh, IGN's live. Let's hear what. Oh, Reforged. Let's do this guy. State of Play.
Okay.
Make this
Gregory Loudon.
This just stole. Yeah. I didn't think there would be. They had Lost Party when it's basically a Returnal sequel in my mind. Saros. I lost it. I screamed my dadgum head off when Housemarque popped up. I love Returnal so much. I'm so excited. A lot of there would not be a lot of first party games there. Yeah. I didn't think there would be. They had Lost Soul Aside, which is a published game that is a console exclusive, but it's also hitting PC. That's part of the China Hero project. And then they had the Kojima thing is like right around the corner. Okay, it's like there's a lot of great games coming this year. I don't need to have first party dominate these.
I do
these things. I don't. These are
I don't agree with him. I mean, I don't think he's wrong. There were some good games in there, but it's a Sony thing. Show me some fucking Sony first party magic. That's why we care. We didn't get to see that. So who else is live? IGN. They're gonna be positive, I'm sure, right? They're just streaming. I don't think they're talking about, are they?
Giving in the chat
to outwit your enemies and make
so far out.
Here we go. Let's see.
There's thereafter, and I was like,
Brian Altano, what's up?
Beyond.
Hey Max, how's it going?
Beyond. Well, we just got a whole bunch of new video games to talk about. Where do we start? Should we start with that last one? Because that really
let's start at the end.
Yeah.
No, I don't care. I just want to know your overall. I don't need to hear you pontificate on the whole thing. All right. Well, there you go. I guess that was the show, folks. So what else is happening in the news today? We'll get to some video game news coming up on the show later, but let's see if there's any other news happening. Unless it's just all people telling us what we just saw, which I'm like, yeah, we know.
Hell yeah, Twitter.
What happened on Twitter?
No, just Twitter's good, except for the pea turtle titty thing. Yesterday.
You know what's really bad? It's good, though. So I up my dosage on Ozempic, and, it's not where it used to be. It's just I have to slowly work back up. And what you do is you forget to eat when you're on Ozempic. And I think I'm crashing because I haven't really eaten today. But that's good because it means the Ozempic's working, but it's bad because now I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm crashing. What did I think, Merc? I thought it was fine. I think there's definitely some games in there that I will enjoy. Like I said earlier. What's that?
If you scroll up, what is this fucking game with the hands? The hands and the fucking...
This lady?
There's a delay on your stream, so I can't really tell. It's the hands coming out of the fucking water, and they're like on a fucking plane or something.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Scroll up. There's like the big demon dude with like 8 hands.
Oh, this guy here. This is the sequel to I think it's a spiritual successor to Returnal is what this is. Ozempic hasn't done anything for you on the max dose. Interesting. I mean, I was on the max dose. It took me about a month and a half or 2 months to get to the max dose or whatever it was, and it worked, and then it just kind of plateaued. But the minute I got off it, I put the weight back on, and so now I'm back on Ozempic, and it's working. But yeah, I get it, Kevin. It's so crazy. Everyone's like, oh, well, I know how to lose weight. That's not the point. The point is I just don't have it in me to lose weight in a way that requires that much energy. So no, but
it looks like we are going to get JKB coming in to talk about his take on State of Play. So
when?
Us another 10 minutes. He's joining now.
Okay, then I got to go get something to eat. Talk to the chat or bring in calls. If you guys want to call, put yourself in the Discord.
Join the Discord.
Call in waiting
join the
room.
Discord, we'll call in.
But I'll be back in a couple minutes. Tech, take over.
Sounds good. Hey boys, I don't have control of the screen, but we're gonna stare at whatever Jaffe left there. There's a little bit of delay for me, so I have no idea what's on the screen right now. Maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's something else. But hey, who else thought it was a bad show? I miss the day, you're like a kid or you're young and you're like watching what's coming out on a gaming platform like PlayStation or Xbox. It's like, wow, this is crazy. I'm so excited. Today did not feel exciting. Today was very, very boring. It was, let's see, join ABC, and I can go into the call room. I'm talking as I type. All right. Let's see. Fuck Sony, says Addy Pie. I bet you would, Addy Pie. Merc says I missed it catching up here. Yeah, Merc, it wasn't great. Fucking Days Gone over God of War. That is a crazy thing. You know, Days Gone was a fucking phenomenal concept of a game for like the horde style zombie shooter, right? Like I was pretty sure, like Jaffe said, they weren't going to make a remake. They announced that they were just not a fan. Hold on. Let's see. Jaffe server. General. That guy should have joined.
What's
Let's say
happening?
He's here. JKB's here. I'm giving him a role.
Oh, let me see if I can bring him on visually so I can see him.
Yeah, he's joining the Discord now. Enables, try again. Fucking Ravenos. Is it Ravenos or Rathy? Is that the same guy?
No.
No, Rat's a different guy.
Different human beings.
Wrath, the guy joins the server and Wrathy says breasts. It's a comment.
Well, it is food. I don't have time to eat like a proper meal right now because I'm doing the show, Darth Nugget. So it's just like a protein shake, and then I'll eat something afterward. Not bad. What's it got? 32 grams of protein? You know? I'll take it. Death Proof says it was better than the boring Xbox show. I don't think so. All right. Well, I'm here, Tech, whenever you guys are ready, okay?
We're getting it done right now.
Yeah, I thought the Xbox show was way better. They just had, I mean, it wasn't as long. You only saw like 4 things or 5 things, but Doom looked great. They showed new Doom footage. If you're into South of Midnight, which I am, that looked great. Expedition 33, I think that's what it's called, looked interesting. And then what was the other one? What was the other one they showed? The goddamn Avowed. No, they didn't. Did they show Avowed? I don't know what they showed. They saved it with Saros, says Ricardo. I love Returnal. And I don't know if they saved it, but it's nice to know they're working on something. And it looks like it is related. Oh, and then, yeah, Ninja Gaiden 4. And they also shadow dropped Ninja Gaiden, the Ninja Gaiden Black 2 that same day. Well, that's pretty cool, too, on Game Pass. So, you know, I thought it was a better show. But hey, not everybody, I get it. You know, everybody's different. Everybody's got different. Yeah, I mean, again, I don't think Saros was a bad announcement, but really, what was it? I mean, the potential for it could be great, of course, because the developer. But I think it, you know, it wasn't like you saw the trailer and went, "Whoa, that looks so cool," right?
It says that he's on a timeout. When he joined the server, it won't let him.
Why?
Volunteer him until 10 minutes after.
Oh, just give him mod permissions for now.
Hey.
Or I can give him a link to the OBS if he wants me to use that. Ask him. Totally fine either way. Oh God. I guess that piece of chocolate had been sitting on my desk for a while. I thought it was new.
Are you eating old chocolate?
Not anymore. I just spit it out.
Sarah, Your dad's eating old chocolate he found on his desk.
Well, I thought it was new.
He thought it was new. He was like, it's unpackaged in there. So
No, it's not unpackaged. It was a piece of chocolate bar. And what I do, the chocolate bars are too big, so I take them and I crack them and only eat half.
He's drinking Diet Pepsi on stream.
That's because it's what I had in the fridge, baby. I need to pick me up. What do you mean you tried to eat a plate of beets tonight, Fentazen? Why?
Why the fuck? Who eats beets?
It was chocolate. I mean, it's good chocolate usually, but it's just kind of not good anymore, is what I would say. Well, you think MindsEye is being understated in the discussion? No, I don't. Look, I want to be clear on this for whatever it's worth. I'm not saying there aren't some really cool games that they showed that are probably going to be really fun. I think Shinobi 2D will be fun. Sonic Racing probably will be fun. Like a Dragon, Dave the Diver, WWE The Island could be fun. Split Fiction, even Directive 8020, Dreams of Another, Lost Records, Blueprints, Tides of Annihilation, Metal Eden, MindsEye. I think they're all interesting. I just think there's a different expectation from a Sony show. So if, like I said, if you own a PS5, I think you're going to be pleased as punch in terms of you're going to have lots to play. And that's probably all they care about. But I, as a fan and as a one-time creator of Sony, I do look at it and go, guys, where are you guys at? Where's your heartbeat? Where's the magic? Where's the surprise? I don't think we got any of that today for the most part. But yeah, MindsEye looks really cool. I don't know if it will be cool because it also could be janky as fuck. But
is that the titty girl one?
No. That's called Tides of Annihilation. MindsEye is the one that has the guy like Fast and the Furious and the shootouts, but then it's got some Blade Runner, Terminator 2 vibe to it. I thought that was cool, but you know, it's not exclusive. It'll be everywhere and whatever. I mean, it's, you know, it's still, I want to be, you know, look, people's time is it's very competitive these days, man. And if you can't wow me, that's on you. You don't get a pass just because I own your hardware, just because you just don't, and you shouldn't. It may not be janky, but even if it's janky, MK Ness says, I just don't know if MindsEye will turn out janky with that pedigree. It may not. But even if it does, that doesn't mean I'm not going to like it. It still looks like it has a neat heartbeat to it.
You're going to play GTA 6 when it comes out, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
PC or PlayStation?
PlayStation only because it's not launching on PC. It will come to PC, but
it's not launching on PC?
No, never does. They never launch on PC. But
hold on. Was it announced specifically for this one that it won't launch on PC?
It's been on PC, but I don't think the GTAs, at least starting with 3, have ever been launch titles for PC. They always come a little later.
I would assume after the huge player base on PC for this one.
Well, no, I mean it's too late. I mean they are working on it. Like even the CEO said the other day about, you know, we're seeing a lot of growth in PC and, you know, we haven't historically been there as our main platform, but things are changing. But they also made it clear that, you know, it's not going to, not because they don't want to. I'm sure if they could snap their fingers, they would. But they probably weren't working on it, and it's too far behind to pause the console versions and go, okay, we'll let the console versions sit for another 8 months. That's what I think is going on. Can I click this with you guys or no? You and JKB? I don't want to, because I'm broadcasting the Discord, so.
He should be joining the...
Oh, okay, there he is, the call-in waiting room. I'm going to bring him on here. Well, hello there. Wait, he just went away. He keeps popping out. Jay, you there?
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yeah, you want to be on camera, or do you just want us to hear your silky voice? What would you like, good sir?
No, I'm gonna get on camera in a second here. I'm just trying to figure this out.
All right, you let me know when you're on camera, and I'll make sure people can see you. There you go.
I am on.
Here it comes.
I am also extremely yellow.
What does that mean? Like
It's nice.
No,
It's nice and warm.
yeah, it looks really good. I wish my shit looked that good.
You look like you're conquering like the Northern Sahara.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's fix it a little.
So we were watching the show, and then afterwards, our chat, we were live, and we went to YouTube and said, let's see what other people are saying. And we went over to your chat because you were live talking about it. And somebody in the chat said, oh, well, Jay's always positive. He's probably not going to say anything negative about it. And immediately you were like, not positive.
Yeah.
I didn't like it either. I mean, go tell the fine folks watching you on our show what your takeaways were.
I think for me, I've been outside of the industry for 15 years as a reviewer for a long time, and now I just do live streaming and talk about video games. But I feel like Sony has dropped the ball again. I mean, there's no real competition from anyone else, so that means they can get a little lazy. But I'm just seeing a lot of different trends that are like played out. Like the Japanese setting, hack and slash, we've seen it 5,000 times now. I feel like every time we see a new game from Sony, it's Japanese and there's samurais or there's, you know what I mean? It's there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong.
I mean, or just to be fair, because I can hear the audience now, or Chinese, because I think what you saw today was from the Chinese initiative, the game called what the fuck?
Titty Girls?
No, that was that might have been. I don't know where that was set. That's Fantasy Tides of Annihilation. But there was the first one they showed that was like the one-man band called Lost Soul Aside that I just thought was exactly what you're talking about. It was like, oh my God, another one of these fucking things.
Yeah, I mean, at some point as a gamer, you see the same things in other games. If it's not a I'll give you a prime example of what I'm talking about at the end here. That last game that they showed is a prime example of what I feel is wrong at Sony at the moment. But let me just finish my thought on the first thing I was saying.
Okay.
You got the same genre over and over and over. And it's almost like they're not learning lessons from the past. It's like the same thing as arena shooters. If you announce an arena shooter nowadays, it's basically DOA. Like, I don't think it's going to do well unless it's something miraculous at the last moment and people are excited for it. I'm never going to play another game in that, right? You can only have a certain amount of games at the top. And I feel like they're just like plugging in these games. Oh, they want more of it. But I'm so like, same thing. You had the same reaction I had. I'm like, another one of these. You know what I mean?
I do. And what's interesting about that to me is like, I mean, I remember being at the very last CES and it was just wall to wall in the game section of Mario ripoffs. Like, I mean, that's kind of what they always do, right? Which is when something hits, it's the safest bet to jump in. I think maybe in this case it could be a little different because Sony PlayStation knows, like with the China initiative and stuff, they need exclusive content and things like Stellar Blade, which I thought was great from what I played, and I thought the DLC, I'm glad it's coming to PC and I'll get it there. But I think part of it is what you're saying. It's just like they're not having an oversight on there's too much of the same shit. But I think part of it's also they just need content. And it's like, well, that game's ready. Like if you're talking about Saros, which is an unfortunate name, which is the last game they showed. I loved Returnal and I thought it was too hard. I hope this game is tuned in such a way that it's a bit more of a mainstream deal. But yeah, I thought it was, what a boring trailer. It doesn't mean the game will be boring. I'm sure the game will be great, but it's like, what is the intention of these showcases at this point then? Right? Who are they for?
Well, I was going to add to that, and I think maybe you'll agree with me on this one. You have an amazing game, like the studio that made Returnal. I think it's called Housemarque.
Housemarque, yeah.
They're incredible at what they did with that game. They essentially took the old NES days of figuring out a boss's pattern, and they just put it into this amazing package. I love those types of games.
Mm-hmm.
I love dying and trying to figure out, like, why did I die? What can I do to change that in terms of the mechanics, right? What can I do? I got to upgrade my guns. I get it now. You know, that I love that in games. But with the announcement of their next game, they tied it into a mechanic from their first game that has nothing to do with their first game.
Well,
So
what do you mean by that? Because I don't think I didn't take away any mechanics from that pitch. I just
Well, I'll tell you what I saw.
Okay.
Maybe I'm looking into it too much, but as that sun starts to fade out, you start to see the bullet pattern that you saw in Returnal of the bullets coming at you at like a circle pattern, like a spiral, which is like an indication that, wait a minute, that's my first thought. I was like, this is Returnal 2. This is okay, great. But it's the same pattern, literally, right from the game. That's exactly how they did it in the game. You know, it's like a spiral coming at you and you got to evade it. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm talking about. Lazy marketing. Like they're so excited about their game, but they can only attach it to the past game because it was so successful. So
Returnal was not successful though. It was not a successful game. It was.
It wasn't? I thought
no,
it was pretty good,
no. Oh, it's critically great. People loved it, but it was a launch title. Fucking beautiful game, wonderful with the new controller, cool story and everything. My take on why it probably didn't deliver is it was way too fucking hard for most people. And I honestly don't mind them getting another bite at the apple if they're going to go back there, if they're going back with the mindset of, we had something really special. Let's try to figure out how we can make this still compelling at a gameplay level, but more palpable so we can actually, do good business. So it's not that I mind a spiritual successor to Returnal. It's that the trailer was incredibly, if you let's put it this way. If you have no history with Housemarque's other games and you don't know they have a great pedigree and you didn't play Returnal, which was most people who have a PS5, then that was a terrible trailer. It showed you nothing. It revealed nothing. It was like, okay, I guess there's some guy wakes up on the beach and there's a monster. How many times have I fucking seen that?
But let me play the devil's advocate here. If you are a fan of that studio and a fan of that game,
sure,
it's just them going like, hey, remember you really liked our game, we're doing it again, except with a different paintbrush. And as a fan of the game, I'm like, see, and like the thing is, I get that they have to follow suit. They can't just be like, here's something really batshit crazy, enjoy. But I feel like that's always been, like, maybe you agree with me, but that's always been an issue with gaming. Like, if one game hits, another studio comes in and borrows mechanics from it, and borrows visuals or whatever it may be, and builds a game around that. It's always been like piggybacking, and I maybe it's just me because I see those things constantly, and I'm
no,
like,
I mean
okay,
that's the creative process, though. I mean, looking at that show we just saw, there was Onimusha 2. God of War was built on the bones of Eco, Devil May Cry, and the first Onimusha. I mean, that's that's how this stuff gets done. But I think for me, maybe it's more of a question of who are these, like when Sony sits down and says, we're going to put together a state of play, why are they doing it? Like when I was a kid buying Atari games, everybody who bought an Atari game got a catalog. And it was like, here's like 50 pages, and each page was a new game or a game that was already out, but it was like, hey, we want to entice you to buy more. So as a show like this for, like as a mainstream guy who's just like a casual gamer but loves his PlayStation, is playing Call of Duty and might be playing Uncharted Collection, is this for him? Or is this for people like us that live, breathe, and eat this shit? I have no fucking clue. But if it's the latter, I thought it was terribly underwhelming. And I thought you watched the Xbox showcase they did recently, right? With Ninja Gaiden, Doom, all that. I mean, people in my chat were talking about it, but I think that was it was way shorter, but it was way better. I
agree.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't want to cut you off, but I just want to say also the what would you call it? Like the campiness of the Sony shows versus the Xbox shows as well. It just shows me like they're so out of tune of what a gamer is nowadays. Like Randy Pitchford. And the other
that
Randy.
was that. I got nothing but love for Randy, but that was ill-advised. That was terrible.
Exactly. You could tell it was this, and I'm just guessing. I don't know everything. I'm just guessing here that he's excited, obviously, to launch his game, but I also feel like he just got there and a PR woman or a guy ran up to him and said, "Here's your script for the show today," and he just went, "Oh, okay." And they did the best they could do. It wasn't like they really planned it and thought about it. And then the execution of it is like watching paint dry. Like it's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Well, I think
Like,
a lot of people in games development think they're funnier than they are. Most people aren't funny. And so when
Yeah, I
they
agree.
when they do shtick, it might be funny if you know those guys around the office and stuff, and it's like, oh, Randy, he's nuts and all that. And that may be true. And that may be wonderful, but it doesn't translate if you don't have that background. It just looks cheeseball.
Well, I think it's also they don't look at the big picture of the industry right now. Like if you look at the whole industry as a whole, how people are feeling about it as hardcore gamers, a lot of people are disappointed. They don't want to see shit like this. They want to get to the facts of what we're getting on PlayStation. We don't want to see Randy making stupid jokes. We want to get to the games. Let's go here.
I think
you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. I think that's always a problem with a lot of these shows. I think it's a problem. To me, I would prune the fuck out of this. I would say, look, if you're really wanting to know what's coming to PlayStation, they have a YouTube channel. They're always updating it. But I would have been like, look, take the best 6 things and that's it, and blow people away. Because ultimately in that way, you're going to bring people to the YouTube page to discover these other things. Nobody needed to see, for example, I'm looking like no one needed to see Rogue
that armor game,
Rogue
whatever that was.
Well, Rogue Warriors, which is out today, or no one needed to. Even the Onimusha trailer, I did not think was very good. The Onimusha Way of the Sword or something. But Hell Is Us, I thought looked really fucking good. I was
Shout
like,
out to Elias Stefexis, by the way.
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
He's the main lead in that game. I could
Okay.
tell his voice instantly.
I was like, okay, give me that. I thought Liza P DLC looked really good. The thing, what did you think about, I know people in my chat were saying it's janky, and I agree, but I found it compelling. MindsEye, which was the second to last thing with the car chases and the gunfights and the Blade Runner city, and what did you think of that?
Yeah. I mean, I think people are going to hate me for saying these things, but I don't care if you guys like me or not, but this is what I see. I just see it's from the creator. It's one of the guys that helped GTA, right? He created GTA, right? So what do you see first? You see his name, and then you see cars. Again, I see through this marketing ploy that they do, right? So I instantly go, I get it. Okay, there's the fucking cars. Sorry, I'm swearing. And there's the guy that was in GTA.
You're fine.
I'm good. Okay. So
Yeah,
I see
Jaffe's
those.
just talk all the time.
You heard what I'm saying, though? I see those 2 guys. Then all of a sudden I hear the fucking, the music straight from Cyberpunk. I'm like, okay, so they've taken this and they put this. Like, I'm not seeing stuff that is glued together. I'm seeing it split apart. Like, it's got the cars from GTA. Come play it. There's explosions. And here's the music you know and love from the other stuff that you have played that looks very similar to this.
Okay, so is it a correct takeaway, not just this show, but it sounds like now this may not be true at all, this because I don't know you very well, but this is just my read from this conversation. It sounds like you are underwhelmed, disillusioned by games in general right now.
Huge, man. I'm looking for a little innovation in the gameplay. Like, I don't like when studios take a mechanic from here and the visuals of this and the music from this and go, here's a new game. That to me is boring.
So are you playing anything outside of the AAA space? Because there's lots of innovation right now.
No, true. But we're talking about like what we saw today. But if I were to talk about like AA titles and indie stuff, yeah, it's incredible what they're doing over there. I wish that AAA studios would take a lot more of that.
Yeah,
but I feel like this is a bigger underlining issue, is the fact that there's all these AAA studios fighting for our time and our money.
Yeah.
And we're just getting the same game chopped up in different ways. Is what
I
feel
think
like
it's
in
just,
AAA.
that's never going away, because I think once you get to the budgets they're at now, they're not going to, one could argue, and I think they would argue correctly, Death Stranding 2 and Death Stranding 1, even though they're not games I particularly care for, there's some real freshness there at a high budget. But I don't think most of these companies are going to be spending that kind of money on something that is as unique and innovative. Like I'm playing a game on PC right now. It's a demo, and it's a card collecting game where you play a haunted house and you're trying to murder people who are coming into your haunted house in order to stop them from getting to the heart of the house and killing you, which is the house.
Yeah.
And there are these paranormal investigators with different powers and shit. Okay, I think that's fucking awesome. And I'm having a great time just with the demo. But I'm like, yeah, Sony's not going to go spend $300 million on that fucking thing. So I think, you know, I think that's just something we got to accept, that the big budget stuff is probably, at least for the next, until, you know, procedurally generated AAA AI comes in and makes the games for us in real time. I don't think we're going to be getting those, just like in movies, right? We're not going to be getting summer blockbusters that are all that creative for the most part.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, it's hard to innovate in a AAA space now because, first of all, we've seen everything done. We've seen it all. So, I mean, I don't know what could be innovated on in certain aspects of that. Like, I'm not saying I would have the answer. I'm just saying I'm tired of it. Like, there's nowhere to go. Like, I'm like, okay, it's an open world game like Assassin's Creed. You know, I have zero interest in playing another Assassin's Creed because I know the paint by numbers that we did last time.
I'm interested in the
You know
new.
what I mean?
I do, but I'm interested in the new one because I do think there is some innovation there. If you've been following it, I like the idea. I mean, I don't know how it's going to pan out, but I like the idea, for example, of revisiting sections of the map because you're in different seasons. So an area that was a pure combat area in a field, now because you're in the fall and the wheat has grown tall, is now a stealth area. I like the idea of the parkour no longer being just anything and everything you can climb, but it's really about observing the environment again, like almost like old school Tomb Raider, to figure out what you can grab onto. And, you know, I mean, I'm not saying that's going to, you know, win awards for innovation, but I don't think it's as dire as it's just cookie cutter. But
no, totally, I get that. I mean, I'm being a little extra negative today because I just came out of that show.
It was
like,
the show leaves you with, I would agree with that. The show left me, and it sounds like you're the same, with a sense of wasted potential. It's just like,
absolutely,
is this where we're at? And even if the games end up being great, it's like, Sony, I don't know, man, put somebody running these shows who wants to entertain, you know, who wants to make the audience go, that was great. And I get it. They probably have a bunch of obligations. It's like, yeah, but we got to put this game in there. We signed a contract. They're going to be in a state of play. You know, they get 24 seconds. This team only gets 42 seconds. What are we going to do? There's all of those, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul obligations that probably don't make it easy. But end of the day, the takeaway is, And I don't think any company ever wants that to be the takeaway.
Well, look at the Game Awards, right? Game Awards is always getting, you know, demolished because it's quote unquote cringe and it's just ads and stuff. The moment that they realized that they needed to make fun of all of the past this year, everyone loved this show because they made fun of each other and it's like looser and it's not, you know, they're saying like, hey, yeah, we have to advertise, but they're making fun of it now. And that was amazing to see, right?
Yeah. I think some of that's the YouTube effect, honestly. I think it's actually a really, really good thing. I have a video I just put up, but I did the interview with Alyssa Mercante a few weeks ago where we were talking about just that, this idea of mainstream video game journalists and, you know, access now and playing the corporate game now. It's become so transparent. I think because you've got YouTube people and TikTok people, even though they can be cringe as fuck as well, but they're not beholden to the same people. And so when you watch people like that, and then you turn on a show like Jeff's and you're like, you can see the PR, like the stench of PR handlers is just wafting off it. So I agree that it was nice to see them take the piss out of themselves this year. I hope they continue that, you know?
So I got a question for you then. How do you take State of the Play? You know, let me just backtrack a little bit, but the Xbox Showcase Direct, that was kind of refreshing because it brought you into the studio. It showed you a little behind the scenes and it just showed you gameplay and there was no fluff. And they showed you what, as a gamer, you wanted to see. Like, why am I excited to play another Doom game? Well, we'll tell you. Here it is. Open world, vertically horizontal, massive open spaces, new guns, blah, blah, blah. Also, we're making it cinematic, and you might actually care about some of the characters that are in this Doom game. So as a fan of Doom, I'm going, oh my God, this looks fucking amazing.
Right.
Right? You watch State of the Play, and there's a guy standing on a beach looking at the sun. You go, what the hell is this? Like, I don't even know what this game... Like, they need to understand, I think, that as we got older, when I was a kid, when I was like 14, and I saw a trailer for Halo, whatever, that's mind-blowing, right? Oh my God, it's Master Chief, I can't wait, right? Now I'm like 44 almost. I don't need to see this little teaser of a guy on a beach. Like, I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
Show us the game. Sell us the game, not the idea of the game.
That has not been their strong suit at Sony for a while, and I don't mean there aren't people there that know how to do that, but if you look at the Doom trailer specifically and compare it to a trailer here, and maybe it has to do with Xbox having more of a PC background. If you listen to Phil Spencer talk, whatever you think of his ability to manage, and depending on the day, I vacillate between it being horrific and maybe visionary. Yeah. But the guy plays games, and he plays a lot of PC games, and he plays a lot of systems-based games. And I imagine that kind of trickles down. I don't know. But when you look at that Doom trailer, it wasn't just, ooh, more Doom and pretty graphics. It was, the things they actually showed, like they had a shotgun or some kind of gun that you fed a skull into it, and the skull crunched up and shot bone shards out, right? Just little things of the moment to moment that you're going to actually get to do that was like, oh, it looks fun to do. But the vast majority of the trailers we saw today, like if you go to I think one of the most representative ones of this problem was the Lost Souls trailer. Which was just like, I've done that so many fucking times. I have seen the big sweeping boss arm come across, and I have to dodge over, through it, under it, and then I counterattack, where I have, so much of it at a gameplay level was just like, you didn't see that. But in the Microsoft showcase, yeah, you saw it. You saw it in Ninja Gaiden. You saw, oh, that's a cool move. I want to do that. That's a creative move. I want to do that.
And the shadow drop, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
It
was
was
amazing as a gamer, because we're desperate right now. Give us something.
Yes.
And they go, here's a remaster right now. Enjoy.
That's right.
Wow.
And I would say that what you'll probably get is pushback of people going, but Sony's number one. And it's like, I know. It's like
yeah, number one at what though?
Well, I mean, two things can be correct, right? Sony can be number one, ruling the roost for a variety of reasons, and this can still have been a very underwhelming show. And is that the tea leaves saying if they don't get their shit together, they're going to be in trouble? I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, I have all the systems like I'm sure you do. I go where the good games are, man. But it is a little bit of a bummer. What about your audience? You were watching this live. Did they share your sentiment or no?
Yeah, it was like 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10 showcase, boring, pointless, repetitive. None of what nobody, well, there's a few games like Tides of Annihilation. I'll just say this.
They showed that. There was a game called Tides of Annihilation today.
Yeah, wasn't it Tides? Yeah, it's Tides of Annihilation.
Oh, right. Yeah. With the 3 ladies, the sexy ladies. I thought that looked like generic but sexy, so I'm in.
Can I just agree with you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this, and I know that I'm not part of the whole woke broke, all that nonsense. Right. I'll just say this: the guys that made Until Dawn showcased a game today.
Terrible.
If you look at the characters in that game, they look so vanilla generic. And I'm like, I have to look at these characters because that's the main gameplay, and you've given us nothing special here.
Right.
Then you look at Tides of Annihilation. If you go watch my stream, the first thing I say is, "Oh my God, the character actually looks attractive."
Oh, I did too. I was worried on my stream because what's Grum's going to complain about? He's got nothing to complain about with this game.
Yeah,
there was 3 attractive white women. What's happened?
Yeah, like the protagonist is gorgeous. The bad guy's gorgeous. Everyone's walking on screen's gorgeous. I'm like, I feel like and it looks like Devil May Cry meets God of War meets, I don't know, Final Fantasy design. I'm in just for the fact that the characters look attractive. Oh my God, we got a game where the characters are allowed to look attractive.
Yeah.
But
it still looks like a generic game, but it looks like a serviceable but very sexy game, and for sometimes that's more than you need.
Well, what I'm getting at is like, if I had to play that versus that Directive, whatever it was, 8040, whatever the game was called, like I can't even remember the title.
Yeah.
But if I had to play the two games, I'm a huge fan of horror movies in general, and Until Dawn's one of my favorite games of all time. I just don't understand, if we're looking at characters 24/7, make them interesting. Like, if you're going to make a game about an alien on a ship, just go copy Alien, the movie.
Right.
Look at the cast of characters there. They're all unique. They're all different. I swear, if you put the characters up in that on a screen there, they all look the same, like generic.
Well, okay, so I
nobodies.
will say, I don't know. I know that with the Dark Pictures anthology, and I think this is volume 2, the first game in volume 2, and I tend to like their games. My biggest issue with that trailer was it looked like a terribly boring B- movie. Like, there was nothing about the scenario that was like, oh my God, this is some great horror. But then if you talk about the characters, I don't know enough to know if those were actors like in Until Dawn, and that was just who they actually are, or were those characters created from scratch, or were those
I mean, I'll
face
just say
captured?
it's like I'll say it's like the most generic vanilla cast you could put together.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I didn't notice anything special about them, but I did think the game looked really generic.
Yeah, I mean, again, when it gets to the gameplay, I could just go, oh look, they're making Until Dawn game with Alien and the Thing.
Right, that's exactly what it felt like, and I've seen that a million times. So
That's again, I don't know how these things are getting green, like the green lights. I don't get it. Like, it's like, if you're gonna, like, they have the opportunity at that studio to do something mind-bending, but they just go, oh, Alien with the Thing. I mean,
I don't think it's that simple. I mean, I would argue a couple things. One is that, you know, we don't know the game yet, and we don't know the actual story yet. So it could be that they're like, look, this whole thing is about surprise, and we can't give away too much, and that's a risk. Or it could be that their trailer was just shit. Maybe, you know, there's a lot of politics that happen when you're doing games like this. I'm trying to think of, like, a lot of times somebody will say something, and the trailer is like 20 different people having to have their fingers in the pie. It's like, well, I want to show this, and I want to show this, and if I don't show this effect, this artist is going to get pissed, and I need him for the next milestone to be okay crunching. You know, a lot of times there's that shit going on. And the trailer, you know, but if I'm the director of that game, or whoever's in charge, I would go, look, man, you get one chance to make a first impression. That trailer is unacceptable. And if it's unacceptable because the story is, I would go, something has happened at that studio, because the last game they made in that anthology, Devil Inside, or whatever it was called, about H.H. Holmes's murder hotel in the fucking World's Fair of the 1800s, was fucking awesome. Right. And so I'm like, is it the same writer? Did they, you know, I don't know, but you get one chance to make a first impression, and that looks like generic, forgettable, straight to VHS slop horror, and there's nothing special about it. It's like, oh no, who do we trust? And the monster can turn into any of us. And then when they finally reveal one of the horror faces, it just looks like a guy with his face melted. I'm like, guys, really? You know horror? What are you doing? This is the most benign shit. So
I just feel like they're just like catering to the widest audience because they don't want to take a chance.
I don't think they.
You don't think that? Like, you don't think maybe that's
well?
just it?
I
They're
think
just
every
like,
that's tough, because I don't think they don't want to take a chance. I think you do have to balance making, you know, a super quirky, weird as fuck indie movie with the fact that you also are spending, in that case, maybe $80 million, and you got to find that balance. But that's where the art comes in, right? The art comes in when you are James Cameron and you're given a shot to direct a movie for Roger Corman. And it's like, okay, yeah, you don't have a lot of money, but you're James fucking Cameron, and when the rubber meets the road, you're going to do something interesting. I get that you may have to play it safe, but you can still play it interesting while playing it safe. And that's
that's a prime example, right?
Yeah.
James Cameron with Titanic. It's about a ship that sinks, but he made it the biggest movie of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
It was a great story. I never expected that movie. I remember specifically that movie opened the same day that the first Scary Movie opened. And we had a bet running at Sony Santa Monica. I'm like, oh dude, Scary Movie's going to clean the fucking clock. No one who wants to see Titanic, and that into that weekend it was like massive, and I'm like, okay, I don't fucking know, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely.
Well, I feel like his movies are just like fairy tales throughout time. He just takes these very simple premises, boy and girl. Like that's all it is. It's about the poor guy with the rich girl. And it's like they learn something from each other and the audience feels good. What I'm getting at though is you watch that trailer for the game and it's just I don't see anything in it that I'm a huge Alien fan. Huge fan of Alien,
The Thing. Yep.
Until Dawn, even the last game they did, the Quarry.
Yeah.
I love those games, right? But this seems just like a backstep. It's like, as a fan of the studio, you see Until Dawn, from the makers of you're like, oh my God, here we go. Oh, it's just Alien. Oh, and it's like The Thing, and it's not even good.
No, if you're going to retell that story, give me something cool about it. Like, I mean, we're doing, I'm just making shit up, but I mean, it's like, did the James Webb Telescope discovers something and we send people up to check what it is. And it turns out it's not an alien. It's fucking, I don't know, some kind of multidimensional time travel. And when you go through it, it totally, I'm making shit up, but it's like, just twist it a little bit. Give me a little bit of a take that doesn't just feel like, hey, I watched Aliens last night and now here's the game design document. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, even the shot of like all of the beds lined up.
Oh, yeah, like, it felt like Aliens and it felt like Passengers. Is that what it was called with Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence?
By the way, somebody recut that movie and took out all the fluff bullshit, and it actually turned it into a really good horror movie.
Oh, okay. I liked that movie. I mean, but I get.
I liked it as is.
Yeah, but I will check that out because I did enjoy it very, very much, and I thought it was that scene in the bar where she realizes that he woke her up just because she was hot. I'm like, oh my God, that was awesome. But it's good stuff. It sounds like. Go ahead.
I was going to say the thing about that movie, what nobody really gets is that if he didn't wake her up, then everybody on the ship would die. So it's
why
it's supposed to be setting that up
because he wasn't capable on his own of doing the work. But
Without remember at the end that piece comes through the thing and he's like, I'm going to go out and do this, but she's like, okay, I'll stay here and open the doors. If he didn't have her with them, then the whole ship would have exploded.
Well, he would have had to woken up somebody, but he probably didn't have to wake up. Like, you could have woken up somebody who was kind of old, who was not going to make it any. I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
but
it's clear he woke her up because he thought she was hot, which,
it's Jennifer Lawrence.
Who wouldn't? But at the same time, oh my God, she'll hate you for the rest of time.
I mean, they kind of dropped the ball on that concept, but I mean, if they pushed it a little bit harder, it would have been cooler if they were like, listen, if I didn't wake you up, we'd be all dead. But yeah, it's Jennifer Lawrence, so it doesn't really work.
Right, because you'd be like, I would do it too.
Exactly.
I'm with you. Okay, I wanted to ask you about one more game. I'm looking for my note here. Oh, so it's already out, but it's coming out day one on PlayStation. Not day one, but it's coming out on PlayStation Plus this month, or PlayStation Collection, which is the new game from the Life is Strange guys, Lost Records. And it is interesting to me because it seems like, I don't know if you've played the Life is Strange games or anything, but it seems...
Long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me like a lot of hardcore gamers kind of poo-poo a lot of games like that, but in a lot of ways, the very stuff we're talking about, which is where are some really interesting stories being told, or where the twists and turns and stuff, it's almost like if you actually made that into a big budget first party game, you'd have all these people going, oh, that's fucking woke, and there's only chicks in it, and and so it's like, in some ways, maybe the guys who really want to do the creative work are going, I don't even want to step into that 3-ring circus.
Yeah,
I'll just stay indie or AA, because those fans, you can't really please them unless you give them exactly what they say they want. And then when you do, they bitch that all you're doing is giving them exactly what they say they want. So,
yeah. So my take on that series in general, I mean, I don't think it's geared towards a 44-year-old male, right? I think it's for teenage girls and women, essentially. I truly believe that. That doesn't mean that guys can't play the game.
Sure, I love shit like that, so I'm into it. I want to play it, but I hear you. It's that's not the target audience for sure.
Exactly, the target audience is not a 44-year-old male, right?
Right.
But in saying that, I'm not too shallow to be like, yeah, I can see innovation in that game. I see it right away, but it's not for me. But I'm also not going to go out of my way to be like, you should check out this game. You know what I mean? I don't know anything about it, so I can't speak a lot on it.
Gotcha.
I remember the trailer. Originally when it was announced, and there was a lot of cool stuff in that.
Yeah.
And I think that those games have a lot of empowering messages for females, and I think that's important.
I can see that.
It's important to have that, because listen, guys we have how many fucking strong male characters?
Heroes. That's right.
Exactly. They can have them too. Doesn't mean that it's woke. It doesn't mean that it's, there's no agenda there. It's just a strong message. That's what I feel. I would never play it.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying with the actual story there. It kind of reminds me of like a Stranger Thing vibe to it.
Absolutely. I love that shit, man. I mean, somebody in the chat, I think this is a really good point in my chat. Anthony says, talking about the Housemarque trailer, he says, if it wasn't a Housemarque trailer, we'd all be pissing on it. And I think he's kind of right. If it was just a trailer where you wake up on the beach and there's this monster, you'd go, okay, who gives a shit, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's something to say, something to know. I agree with.
Well,
that.
I mean, I think that was probably the worst trailer of the show, and it was the last one. And it's supposed to be the strong point for Sony to be like, hey, we've got this sort of critical game that didn't do so well for us. It's like they tossed it out like a paper bag, like they didn't care. They're like,
or show us something better, right? Show us, like, if maybe the game will be great, I'm sure it will, but could show us something. Otherwise, why are you showing that? What, I mean, seriously, what do you think, other than the team having their egos stroked of like, yay, people know about it? Did they really make that trailer and go, people are going to lose their shit over this? Really?
Well, let me throw this theory out. There. There's obviously a big sort of like gap in AAA right now. Like where is the first party Sony games, right? There's not many. It's very so I'm just asking you, because you might know some insight into this. How does the planning go about when it comes to this stuff? They showed nothing of the gameplay, of course, because they call it a teaser. But could that also just be because they just started the game, like literally right now?
I don't think it's because they just started it, but it may be that they're just not ready yet to show the stuff that they think is going to be meaningful to sell it. At which point, why even announce it? And
that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah. But they could have shown more Ghost of Yodi. That's coming out this year. That's surprising. People are like, and it's so weird. People have all these like, well, that's not what the showcase, that's a showcase, not a state of play. I'm like, you know what? Shut up. It's not a legal definition. It's not a legal term. It's time for Sony to start showing some of their fucking first party magic that we have paid for buying their console, and we have rightly so, because they've been so great in the past, we have come to expect. So I don't give a fuck what you call the show. It's time to see some gameplay from Ghost of Yodi. It's time to see more than just Death Stranding. It's probably time to see some there was a rumor that we were going to see the new service game from Bungie, not Marathon, but the thing they have codenamed Gummy Bear, which apparently is really, really fun to play. And it was nothing. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on, you guys? So I think we know they've lost a lot of time with these service games that haven't worked, but figure it out would be my answer. It's like, things happen, and you've had some time to lick your wounds. You've had some time to deal with that. It's really hard. We all get it, but you're a big fucking company, and show us fucking something. Even if, I mean,
think it's just a lack of transparency.
Yeah. And they don't owe us it, but it would be nice.
They don't owe us it, but I mean, we're currently, they don't understand the landscape of how the gamer feels in general right now. If I got to sit in the office, I would simply say everyone's just disappointed.
Yes.
From Xbox to PlayStation. So how do you change that? You got to come out, just like the Game Awards came out and made fun of themselves. They need to loosen up a little bit and be like, listen, We tried to go with this live service plan. We fucked it up. We canceled 8 games. A lot of money went out the window. Nothing's in place of those games. Just be transparent. Same thing as like PSN goes down for 24 hours, not a peep.
Yeah. Well,
you think that the audience is going to be like, oh, that's fine. It's okay.
I think
No
here's what I think what's happening. I think is that Sony, rightly so, has built up a lot of credit in the bank because they've been successful and they're number one. And so there is a buffer that they have, that allows them to go, yeah, I'm sure you'd love to know things, Jaffe. I'm sure you'd love to know things, Jay. I'm sure you'd love to know things, audience. But you know what? We're cooking. We'll tell you when we're ready. And that works, and that can go so far. But I think these things stack. And yeah, you're right. Whether it's the outage, whether it's this show being disappointing, whether it's going, show us some new shit that's exciting like you used to, all of that stuff builds. And it starts to eat away and chip away at that goodwill. And I don't think it means Xbox is necessarily going to come in and eat their lunch. But I do think that you got to be careful because someone out there is always trying to build a better mousetrap. And the younger generation cares more about playing on phones and PCs than they do on consoles. Or that as well, but but their main audience isn't kids, by the way. The majority of people who bought a Switch were in their 20s.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. Remember, like Nintendo's always been the outside here, and they're not. They always said they're not trying to compete. I feel like Nintendo's about to like just be a juggernaut because there's many reasons for that. We could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, there's no way to know. I mean, I think Game Pass and I think PC and I think streaming and right to your TV, but all of us are guessing. But I think if I was Sony and I was sitting at the top of the hill, I would be very nervous right now. Not because they're awful, they're not. They're a great company, they have great talented people, but because someone that's making the calls doesn't seem to be aware that the landscape is shifting massively.
Wouldn't you say it was Jim Ryan?
Yeah, but now it's Herman Holst, and maybe it's not even Herman. Maybe it's PR. There was a woman there that had a lot more power than anyone in PR ever should have, in my opinion. I don't know how ingrained they are still, but I could see somebody like that who will go nameless, being a person that's like convincing people we're fine. We don't, get off the internet. The internet's not the real world. Twitter's not the real world. We're fine. Look at our quarter, blah, blah, blah. And there is truth to that in the moment, but there is a underlying, like I said, chipping away at that foundation of goodwill. And there's going to come a point where all it takes is someone to come and knock them off. And they're like, what happened? It's like, well,
I mean, if you list off, I'll just say me personally, the reason I'm disappointed with them is that the PlayStation 5 Pro gets announced, which is interesting to me. I'm like, okay, cool. They got a higher spec for it. That's great. What do you got to show me? Not much. I mean, not even a launch game to show off the system. It's like, that's embarrassing. Where's PSVR 2 support? That thing's dead in the water.
It's dead.
So anybody that bought that, by the way, today on the show, they said also for PSVR for a bunch of their games.
Yeah.
They didn't show gameplay, of course. So that thing is dead in the water.
Yeah.
Gone. So not only do we have a new system out, which seems to have no support, they're also now remastering games that don't need remasters. I don't know if you know this, but there was a major rumor that God of War Trilogy was
supposed to be there today. Yeah.
So instead of that, remember, it's like the perception of Sony right now. Everybody wants a Bloodborne remaster. They said basically that's not happening because the creator wants to handle it. So yeah, that'll be a PS6 thing. I guarantee it, right? But they gave us Days Gone, which has this sort of negative energy to it as is because there's no sequel announced for it. They said that they're not going to get a sequel, but instead we're getting a double dip on it when we don't need a remaster of it. It's on PC.
Okay, I happen to like Days Gone, but I will...
I love it too.
But what I'll say, though, is it's like Shuhei was on the Kind of Funny podcast recently, and he was like, you don't have to buy the remasters, but the remasters help Sony make money that lets them feed into new things.
I get that.
And that would be great if they were showing us the new things as well, then it's like, then I'd go, Days Gone, not for me. But look, I saw Corey's new game. Or look, it turns out Bungie's Marathon is actually a fucking blast to play. But, you know, that pill is only going to be swallowable by core gamers if we're seeing the results of what that money is doing. But they're not showing us anything. And it's kind of ridiculous.
I mean, not to kiss your ass here, but like I could name a million games from PlayStation 1, collections that they could do of remasters, full remakes, remasters. Well, like where is the God of War trilogy remastered? Like that's something we need back from the legacy of
I am almost certain they're working on that. I've never seen it. I've never heard about it other than rumors, but it would stand to reason. They've already remastered it a couple of times, and it may be that I do think that is eventually coming, and I think it's time for that. But
like where's the God of War? Where's the Twisted Metal collection?
Well, the Twisted Metal collection is a little different, though. I think that one becomes a harder nut to crack for a variety of reasons.
You think so?
Well, I think, because I think if you remaster, like there's a difference between a remake and a remaster. If you want to remake Twisted Metal 1 and 2, okay, there's a conversation maybe to be had there. But remastering those games, those games looked not great when they came out in 95, 96. So it's, it's not like you're going to, hey, we've up-res the textures that, were basically 16 by 16, it's just gonna, you got to redo the whole fucking thing at this point. But then there was no online code for those games. They were primarily online, or they were primarily multiplayer games, but split screen really isn't a mode anymore that you can build a big brand on. So there's a lot more work in those games for a variety of reasons. But I would agree with you with God of War 100% that we need a remaster of that.
It's like I said last time. It's like Sony's legacy that Nintendo has doesn't exist anymore is what I'm talking about. Like there's no Sony's brand legacy is the console itself. It's not the games. You know what I mean? Like they weren't smart enough from the beginning to be like, these are legacy titles that are going to carry through all the generations, and people that are 8 years old will be playing this when they're 48 years old.
I think the problem is what they did, and this has always been something I struggled with when I worked with and for Sony and now as a fan, is these guys seem to be like, we want our teams to work on what they want to work on. And I'm like going, I get that, and that should always be part of the conversation and a meaningful part of the conversation. But there's a reason that Mario is beloved. There's nothing magical about Mario as a design. They simply kept making more of them, and they were really good, which is why Sony wears a new Nathan Drake, right? It's like, well, his story is over. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if goddamn Neil Druckmann thinks, but that's Nathan's story. He's retired now and he's raising Cassie. They're not real. They are brands. They are comic book characters. They are pulp. You think Spider-Man marries Mary Jane and there's no more Spider-Man stories? That's I think their biggest problem. It's like they could have built those characters generationally, and it just kind of seems like, no, well, Naughty Dog wants to make this now. It's like, well,
dude,
give somebody else the fucking chance to work on Nathan Drake. It doesn't have to be Naughty Dog.
That's what I'm getting at. I saw Neil talk in Toronto maybe 15 years ago at something. I don't remember what it was, but he was talking about Last of Us, and they were working on the sequel at the time. And maybe I got the timeline a little longer there, but I saw him speak, and he's like, I want to show you guys something. And he puts on the screen fucking Jak and Daxter remake. He shows it to us. He shows us what they look like, what the gameplay would be. He showed the whole thing.
Okay.
Everyone in the audience is like, oh my God, this is amazing. It basically was like a realistic remake of Jak and Daxter.
Okay.
So everybody was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden he hits a button and a giant X goes through it. And he goes, we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to do the same thing over.
And it's like, great.
So Pat,
give it to someone else. Yeah. Miyamoto doesn't direct every fucking Mario game. He doesn't direct every fucking, certainly not now, but it's like, and there was a story, I think it was, I was reading it today, but going back to that Kind of Funny interview, and this one always was the epitome of this, was Shu talks about how VR became, his passion project because Sony Santa Monica had done Kratos with Move controllers. And then I forget his name now. He worked on all the Gods of War, but he was really into new tech, and he had built like a little headset to play. And Shu was like, "Oh my God, I felt like Kratos." Now, whether or not they put God of War on PSVR, whatever. But the fact, what was told to me when I said, "Well, why didn't you release a Move game with the Blades of Chaos and Kratos?" Apparently, the Sony Santa Monica team was like, "Well, we don't think the graphics on the Move game will be as good, and so we don't want to do it." And it's like, who gives a shit what you want? Are you driving fucking sports cars because you're fucking bonus? Are you getting your health insurance covered? I don't give a shit what you want. That's fucking money in the bank. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. Give it to these guys. Who wouldn't want to have the goddamn Move controllers and just be like, all that? Come on, man. It's crazy.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's those decisions, what I'm getting at is like, yeah, like PlayStation 3 had stumbled at the beginning and they kind of brought it back. Yeah. PlayStation 4, bit of a juggernaut, did great. But I feel like PlayStation 5 is in this zone where it's almost like they went to the idea pool and they looked in and they're like, well, we did everything. Like, what do we do? Like, we don't know. There's no mainline plan. There's no roadmap for the AAA titles because as a fan, what did you show us today? I don't even know what that game is.
No,
it's like
embarrassing. I agree. I think what's difficult though is the industry is changing. And so I do think Jim Ryan didn't pull service games out of his butthole and go, I had this epiphany. Jesus came to me and said, he was looking at the market and trying to do what a leader does, which is like, okay, guys, those games are making gajillions of dollars. AAA is stagnant in terms of there's a ceiling on it. We have to get into this business somehow. You can argue, did they go all in too fast? Did they get the wrong people? And I think the answer is, in retrospect, of course they did. But I think you have to factor in that they're not stupid. These are smart people. And I think the way they tried to respond to the ground shifting, I don't think they know how much the ground is shifting still. And I also don't think they responded correctly. But I do think that some of it is because they had to do something. But I also think they are beholden more to their teams. I think they've got magic when it comes to giving the teams the freedom to be creative. But sometimes you got to let the marketing team or somebody on the production team who has a marketing hat on go, we still have to listen to the people. And this is not just your passion project. If you want to make a passion project, Neil, do that. Here's some money, make it for $5 million. We'll promote it. We'll put it on PS Plus day one. But this is about mainstream, and not to knock Neil. I love The Last of Us. I mean, that was a great thing. And I'm looking forward to Intergalactic. But if he's the guy that's holding up Uncharted, going out into the world and being made by another developer, and I'm not saying he is. There's been rumors that there's been a number of people trying to make an Uncharted. But how the fuck hard is it to make a goddamn Uncharted game at this point? Not everything has to be a fucking game of the year. Just make a fucking fun, 8-hour Uncharted game. Sell it for $40. Keep the legacy going. And then suddenly people give a shit who Nathan Drake is. But I don't know, man. It's weird. It drives me batshit.
Well, dude, that's why I'm frustrated as a fanboy of all consoles, everything. Mm-hmm. It's frustrating because they're doing what you said, right? They're like, oh, well, Days Gone is being remastered. Here it is again. I just feel like they're putting the money in the wrong places. It's like nonstop. Sony is like, well, buy it on PlayStation. And then 6 months later, it's on PC. They're following suit with Xbox. I get it. The more copies sold, the better for them. But what I'm getting at is if you are a Sony fanboy right now, I would be furious. I mean, like, I don't know what I'm buying a console for even at this point.
I think if you're a Sony fanboy right now, I think you're going to be okay because you're going to go, I have lots of games coming. But I think if you're a fan of Sony because of their unique intellectual properties and really clever shit, I would be like, really? But I mean, at that point you have to go, those days are probably over in AAA anyway. So,
well, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Let's just pretend, again, I know nothing of game design. I mean, I know how it works. I know how it's done. I could never make a game. I couldn't even make a fucking a $2 game on Steam. I couldn't do it.
Okay.
But I know a few things, but I don't know anything. That's what I'm getting at. What
Okay.
I'm saying though is, if I was in charge at Sony right now, I would be going to these AA studios on Steam on PC, because we're going to PC anyways.
Yep.
I'd be handing them the keys to some of the classic PlayStation IPs. And I'd say, guys, are you interested in making a Twisted Metal for this amount of money? If you're able to do it and we can get it green, like to a point, then we'll drop it as this cheap free-to-play game on PC.
Well,
something's going to stick. Something's going to stick.
I've been saying that forever. I would do that. I would do early access on PlayStation. I won't tell you who it is, but a very big executive at Sony wrote me and was like, "Yeah, you're right. I agree." And I don't know why it's not happening. But all of this money, it's like they've got to read the room, and they've got to go, look, if they made a Twisted Metal with 8 people that just had an interesting idea and they put it out in early access and people were like, hey, this is really cool and fun. And then they say, cool, let's throw a little bit more money at it. That's how it has to be done today, because you cannot make the game, spit polish it, put it out for $70 or free, and open the door like the fucking Warner Brothers Frog, or the guy who had the Warner Brothers Frog, and then nobody shows up for it because you've spent all this money and you haven't market tested it. That's not how it works anymore. And they need to be doing that. They need to be doing Farm League AA games for new titles and to keep old titles alive. And they also need to go, not everything you guys do has to be production value porn. It just doesn't. Right? It just,
where did they get that idea?
Well, that's what made them very, very, very successful in PS3, 4, and a little bit of 5. And that's,
Yeah, when they started to make a video game more cinematic, when they were like, these are movies, these are stories that we can do.
And don't not do that. Continue to do that. But don't think that that's the only thing that people want out of you guys. I would...
Well, let me ask you this. Like, how does that actually happen? Is there obviously you can't get into super detail, I'm assuming, but like when major decisions are happening for the new consoles and stuff, how far does a roadmap go? Like, are we talking 5, 10 years?
Regarding a roadmap of what?
Of like a plan for the system. So like when the PS5 was initially thought of, didn't they have roadmaps, don't they? Like, okay, so
but there's a hardware roadmap, and then they assume, okay, our studios are going to make games for it. And then the head of the software group sits down and says, what is our slate? What is our alchemy? What is the mixture of types of games that we need, that we can excel in, that will be system sellers, because we also make a shit ton of money off other people's games, third party, because we get a 30% cut or whatever every time a dollar gets spent, or every time anything gets spent, we get part of it. So there's that roadmap. Yeah. But I think
my question though is, like, once the roadmap's in place, what happens when a fucking giant portion of that roadmap, live service games, falls out?
Well, that's what they're trying to figure out. That's why they're... That's a reason. I don't think it's the only reason, but that's a reason why they're struggling right now, because I think that at this point they expected factions from The Last of Us to be, printing money, and they probably expected Concord to be, taking on Marvel rivals, and they probably expected maybe 1 or 2 of these single player games to be farther along than they are. It is. I don't know what's happening with Cory Barlog's game, but how long has it been? 2018. So now we're going on 6, 7, 8 years since we've seen a game directed by that guy, and we know he's directing something. I'm not saying it's not going well. I'm sure it is. I think the guy's great, but I'm just saying that things take longer, maybe, if you're trying to work at that level, and they didn't seem to backfill it with any of these AA's or whatever. So I honestly, I think, and part of it is, I think a lot of these guys, not all of them, because I know some executives there still to this day that are frustrated because their upper bosses do not play games. They don't know games. They're stuck in like PS3 era, retail, box and mortar bullshit, or brick and mortar bullshit. And it's frustrating because, there's a lot of change happening, and great, exciting change. And it's you know, the fact that they don't have early access is fucking nuts. It's fucking nuts at this point.
It doesn't make sense at this point.
You could have put Concord out, you know, relatively quickly and known right away, is this meaningful? Is this going to work? And if it's like, well, it doesn't work without the production value. It's like, here's a tip. If your game is only good because of the production value, that's not, you're not standing on a very good foundation to build your house on.
I agree with that.
So,
I mean, again, I think also, yeah, sorry.
No, I was going to get to a couple super chats. Pompish, thank you. He says, you two guys have great chemistry. My favorite YouTubers appreciate both you guys' content. This is truly a pleasure. Tech Protect, you're just all right. Yeah, well, you know, you can't win them all. But thank you, Pompish. That's nice. And then Jonathan says, how mad will you be if Saros is just Returnal with a male protagonist? I will be mad if Saros is Returnal without the Returnal lessons learned. Because Returnal, to me, what I said when I played it is this is going to be Sony's Blade Runner. And it kind of has become that, which is a game that if you play it, if you're in the know, you love it. But most people just walked away and ignored it. And so I don't think that game needed to suffer that fate. And I would be upset if it turns out they go right back and do the same fucking thing again. And they don't realize what they've got there, is what I would say.
Surprised they didn't take Returnal and say, let's do a sequel.
I wanted them to just do a re-release and tune it a little bit differently, and maybe put it out free on PS Plus day one, and then you could sell it for $20 and have it kind of get a second life when they basically turned it and kept the mode for the roguelite, but made it more roguelite for the new mode. So most people could actually, like Hades, actually work their way through it. But I don't know I mean, who in the fuck was interested in making it to level 2 or level 3 and dying?
Not many.
And then go, hey, I'm going to go all the way back. And yeah, there's a few things I can keep. But most things I lose. And then people are, well, there's shortcuts. It's like, there's shortcuts, but most people don't discover those and play long enough to find those. And it was just a real dumb, no executive minding the store, letting these guys do whatever the fuck they wanted. And they really killed a great gravy train. What could have been a great gravy train of a game, and it became a cult classic, and that's it.
Jaffe, there was a point made in the chat earlier when Jay was talking about Returnals. Do you think there should have been more push towards a Steam support, like a PC support of the game? I
mean, they have. It's on PC.
It's on PC, but the peak all time ever concurrent players on Steam was 6,600 players.
So what is the point of the person in the chat? What are they asking?
Should the company have focused on PC support or PC marketing, saying you can get this on the computer? Since we all know, like, hardcore gamers that are going to invest time and money into like a company are on PC. They also have like all the fun little, PS5s and Xbox whatever.
I don't think Sony would ever do this, but I would have thrown that game on PC day one, just like Helldivers 2, and I would have opened up mods instantly. And that would have been a cult, because that gameplay, people love it when they love
Fantastic.
it. Yeah. Right? And if you could mod that game and just put whatever you want into it and let people do that, like Bethesda does with their games on PC, that would have, I think, taken off a lot bigger. Because
it wouldn't have hurt, but I think fundamentally it's way too fucking intimidating for most people. Because even if you look at some of the most successful games that are rogue games on PC, if you look at Hades is a roguelite with a T. Even when you die, you feel like, okay, that was a good run and I'm dead and I got to start again, but I'm emerging from the failure with a little bit of joy. But Returnal goes so far into its hardcore roguelike shit that I just think that was its albatross, and it would have been
like a. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say it would have done better on PC. Yeah, why not? But I don't think that would have solved the biggest problem, which is the like of Rogue.
See, yeah, I totally get what you're saying. When I started playing that game, I'm like, I fucking love this game, but I hate it. Yeah. I hate dying, right? And it can only push you far enough before you're like, I'm done. Like anybody that plays it, I'm sure there's some people that play that game, they're amazing at it, and they're having a great time, and then all of a sudden they die, and they lose all that stuff. It just needed to be, like you're saying, a little balanced a little bit more, or just throw an extra mode on it, update it, and go, okay, we hardcore's still there, Now there's a bit of an easy mode for people to really get into it.
And what you will hear is hardcore people saying, that's not what we want. That's what's great about it is that, it's like, okay, I get it, but make that an indie game then, or make that at most a AA game. But what you must understand, and if you don't understand it, you're either stupid or you're intentionally arguing a point that you cannot defend, is when you are in a business of selling AAA games, you don't get to act surprised or mad that they have pivoted to a more conservative mindset when people don't show up for a game that good and well was never going to connect with a lot of people because it was tuned to be so punishing that most people don't want that. And it's like, you can't have both. You can't. There's no sustainability of it. So
see, just to bring this up quickly, I think the reason why the Star Wars Outlaws game failed is because if you're going to give us a game in that world and you're finally telling us we get to be bounty hunters in Star Wars, that's something I wanted to do when I was like 5 years old.
Right.
I'm all in on it. The problem with the game is there's no character creation. If I could create my character and go into that game and be even a voiceless character, I would have enjoyed that more than getting a story told through a character that they designed, unless it was actually good and it turned out not to be good. So I think what I'm getting at here is that a lot of new games, if they're AAA, they got to invite the player to create their character more these days than take major chances like they did with that Star Wars game.
Yeah, I loved that game and I genuinely loved the story, but I would agree with you that it goes back to needing better executives, right? Because I understand that the team might be like, but we want to tell this story. I don't care. I do care personally. And I would love if all of these studios would allow, to have these boutique offshoots of publishers that you can tell your artistic stories. But yeah, if you're spending upwards of $200+ million on a video game these days, I think most narrative-based games need character creators. As much as people loved or hated, and I enjoyed it a lot, Dragon Age Veilguard, that story was told no matter what your character looked like, whether they were male, female, non-binary, an elf, whatever fucking, I don't remember the character classes they had, but and I think, and it's like, you couldn't do Nathan Drake that way. And it's like, yeah, I know. But, make that at a AA level or make sure that the game is going to be acceptable for a lot of people. I would have loved Star Wars just as much if it would have been like Dragon Age, where it would have been the same story, but I could have made whatever character I wanted. I've said this for a while. I think there's a great business to be had in to make a character creator that the industry just uses. And so you can start selling like, hey, Taylor Swift. I always try to make Taylor Swift when I can, and it comes out terrible, but she's my girlfriend and I'm going to marry her and fuck you. And so the problem is, but if somebody were to say, hey, we have the rights for the character creator of Taylor Swift, download this, we'll charge $5. You can put her in any game that has character creator. I'm like, oh, yay, I want that, right? I think the audience is, it's a good way to solve that problem. I'm with you. And I think Star Wars Outlaws would have been better for it, even though I loved it. Thought it was fantastic.
Well, let me get into, again, just quickly, and then I'll head out here. They tell me that it's this immersive story. You're a bounty hunter. You could do what you want. Everything's, it's all there. Everything you ever wanted is there. I start playing the game. I get into the first bar where there's like NPCs everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's no interaction with any of them. I could shoot my gun laser next to the head of somebody and they just stand there drinking. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, this is like almost false advertising.
Yeah.
It's like you told me I'm in this world, but then you get into the bar scenario and no one interacts with you. And you just got these checkpoints. Go to this person, talk to them. It's like the standard Ubisoft.
Well, but you even notice it. You notice it in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I love right now. I'm loving that game, but I'm going back. I'm doing a video on this right now, but it's kind of like, the uncanny valley. People usually talk about the uncanny valley as it relates to visuals, but it really is the uncanny valley of narrative, where
Yeah.
in that game is so high fidelity when it comes to the presentation visually of the simulation and all of the systems. Like, you've got to wash your clothes. If you don't wash your clothes and they're covered with blood, you have low charisma and you can't, negotiate prices as well when you're trying to sell a sword or whatever. It puts so much in there that it demands the players has an expectation that the narrative will follow suit. But in that game, I do these things and then I come back around and it hasn't, I literally went and saved a hunter at the behest of his wife, but I chose to kill the wife and the son of the hunter because I wanted to see what was happening. And I went and saved him and brought him back home. And he's just like, oh, my wife's not here. Oh, well. And he's just started giving me more quests. And meanwhile, her body's lying right there in front of him. Right. And so it's almost weird that it's like when you, but I never had that problem in Ninja Gaiden Black 2 because the game doesn't present as such. But when you present it like that in that game, or Star Wars, which I loved being in that world. And I love that you could wander through, like you could dock with a satellite, and then you're wandering through the space station and there's weird exotic food. You can sit there with your pet and have the robot make you this weird dish and stuff like that. But you couldn't actually really role play in it. And I think AI is going to solve that for us. I think procedurally generated narrative is definitely happening. And I'm curious what Ken Levine does with it with Judas, because he's saying that's a big part of why he's making that game, that these characters will remember and respond accordingly. But I think it's going to have to be more procedurally, because I think you can't come up with everything the player might do. So
yeah, I get what you're saying. I just like it's again, they don't know how to read the room. Like if I took Star Wars over right now, the main thing about Star Wars that Disney pushes on everybody constantly, it's about the creatures, it's about the worlds, it's about seeing those things, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm making a video game now, that would be at the top of the list to make sure that if the player goes into a bar scenario and there's all these amazing characters sitting there, humans, droids, aliens, they should be able to go up to each of those and talk to them.
Kind of.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I do, but then you get into some weird problems, right? Then you get into a weird pacing thing. If I can go up to everybody and
everybody,
and talk, then the pace is like then what I feel like is obligated. Then I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to miss anything, because if I don't talk to everybody in the bar, I may not know where the treasure is hidden on the backside of the asteroid. And suddenly I should be out having fun, but I'm doing busy work of, did I get everybody in the bar, right?
Do you like how Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does it, where you have named characters that are hanging around the tavern or whatever? Then you have like hired hand, and you have like
there are some games
There's got to
that
be like tiers. There's got to be tiers of NPCs.
Yeah,
what
you
I'm
can
getting
interact
at
with
is
and you can see.
Yeah, like a tier system where like this guy you can bump into and he'll go like, ugh.
Right.
And then maybe you bump into somebody else and they'll be like, hey, watch it. And then you could talk to him and he's like, what are you doing here? And then there's somebody above that, like a tier. But what I'm getting at is there's no system in place in that. You just walk up to anybody drinking and you bump into them and they just drink. They just move.
Yeah. I mean, as games get more realistic, there are these expectations of realistic responses in the NPCs. And I think, we're starting to see it with games that are integrating large language models like ChatGPT. I'm playing a beta right now of a game called AI People. And it's basically, you have to subscribe $10 a month to get to get the chat AI working. And it's not the world's best game, but they will respond as their character. And you can go up to every character and you can type in their parameters. So I can have a brand new character and say, this guy is terrified of everything unless you quote Taylor Swift music. And if you do that, and it'll work, right? It'll fucking work. And so there is a point where this stuff's going to come together and it's going to be the holodeck. And we are seeing those steps, but it's very obvious when the game doesn't deliver on that, because some of the systems are so advanced that when that bumps up against a system that feels like it's from 20 years ago, you're like, why? I just shot that guy. And he's just going, hey, isn't this a good space drink? I like blue milk.
Like LA Noir had such amazing animations in the face.
Right.
And I remember it was so good that any game coming around that sort of atmosphere in that time zone looked terrible. It's like, wait a minute.
Right. Right.
Yeah, it's that it was so good. So what I'm getting at is like, yeah, the game mechanics are all over the place. Like I'm looking at this Ubisoft game that has mechanics from 1999 in it.
Which game?
And well, just Star Wars. Like the NPCs
right,
don't do
right.
jack shit.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be this living, breathing world. It instantly took me out of the game.
Right.
I'm like, okay.
Have you played Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 yet?
Haven't played it yet.
What is really neat about the NPCs that does work is they are on their own internal clocks. So one of the it's just a minor thing, but like when I went to it was midday and I'm like, where's the guy who runs the shop that I want to sell my shit to? And I went and it was closed. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I could have broken in if I wanted to, but I didn't want to run the risk. So I wandered around, I went to the tavern and he was just in there day drinking. And so I could still talk to him and I could still engage with him, but he's on a schedule. Sometimes he'll just leave, shut the shop, go have a drink, and then come back to work.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and you're just kind of like, I'm sure all of that's happening and 90% of it you don't notice, but when you do notice it, that world just comes alive and it's like, oh my God, these are real people. So of course I then got a sword and started killing everyone. You know, that's what you do. That's what you do. All right.
Yeah,
well, listen, man, what a fun chat. I had a great time talking to you. Thank you for calling in.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Be well. And when are you on next? You're on every day, right?
Well, actually, I was going to see if you're available at 11 because we're going live at 11 to talk about
11
this stuff.
tonight?
Yeah.
What time? What is that for me?
Right now it's almost 8.
Oh yeah, I'll come on. This is you and Rich?
Yeah, we're doing that again tonight.
Yeah, I'll come on if you want me. I'll be there.
Yeah, so I'll call you or we'll set it up.
We'll set it up with Tech. I'll see you in a few hours then. All right, buddy. Thanks,
man. Guys. Appreciate you.
All right. Let's
Thank
see.
you, man.
Let me disconnect. Okay. Tech, was that my brother in the waiting room? He should call back. Well, that was a nice conversation. Look at Matt DeMarco. Thank you, buddy, for the super chat. He says AAA protagonists look like peg warming action figures. I appreciate your money, Matty DeMarco. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. A peg warming action figure. What? A peg warming action figure. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck that is. Who's in the chat here? Who's this guy? My brother, Philip, if you're still watching, call back. I just saw that you left. I want to bring you on. This is this is a fella who likes to go by the name Da Game Boy. Oh, I think he's a troll. What's up, buddy?
Yo. What's up, Sweet Tooth?
Hey, you call me Sweet Tooth. I bet you call all the girls Sweet Tooth, though. I'm not going to take it special. How you doing, buddy? What's going on? What do you want to talk about?
Not much. But for a second, it kind of smelled like Xbox influencers for that 60-minute.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Yeah. It seemed like because everything goes ditto for Xbox. I spent like 50 minutes talking about how Sony needs to work on this and that.
Well, I mean, it was coming on the heels of the Xbox or the Sony show, so that's why it got our attention because it just happened today.
Right. And I know I would say that the show would be almost the equivalent of the Xbox Direct, but maybe the Sony was slightly better.
Oh yeah, I don't agree with that at all. But I mean, it's subjective. But I don't agree with that.
Because for example, the South of Midnight just dropped, and I noticed that Midnight Walk looks almost similar to it, like far as the art style.
Wait, South of Midnight? Oh, you mean Walk Through Midnight, or the one that they had on today's show?
Right.
Yeah. So are you? And what I said about that game, by the way, was the art style of, I think it's called. What is that fucking thing called? Midnight Walk.
But it's like a clay.
Yeah. The art style looks amazing in that game. It looks awesome. I think the reason I'm not, and I'm certainly interested in paying attention to it, But what I will say about that compared to South of Midnight is when South of Midnight revealed itself, not just at the last Xbox, but they had their own deep dive about a month before that. They dove into the characters, the story, the music, a little bit of the gameplay, and all that to me is really exciting because I like horror. I like Southern Gothic horror. I like all of that. I think the setting, like if you think back to that movie in the 80s, Angel Heart, where Robert De Niro played the devil and it was like Mickey Rourke in the plantations and stuff. I'm super into that. Whereas Midnight Walk, I could also be super into because it looks visually amazing, but I don't really know what it is yet, right? It looked like, if you think back to that Xbox game, which I thought was terrible, Scorn, it wasn't an Xbox game, but it was an Xbox exclusive for a while. That game looked amazing as well. That was the horror first-person game that looked like Giger, who did Aliens. But when you actually play it, oh my God, it's abysmal. It's so dull and so slow. So I need to wait to see sort of more what Midnight Walk is before I'm ready to trumpet it or shit on it. But I think right now what they've shown, very compelling. I'm excited to hear more.
Yeah. They share the same artwork, but I noticed in South of Midnight, you and Jay was talking about how like gaming has become bland. Everything is kind of almost the same, and I noticed that in South of Midnight, like for example, y'all brought up Star Wars, and I noticed like in South of Midnight when you're double jumping and running on the wall. Star Wars does that, and I'm pretty sure a dozen games does that. Call of Duty,
absolutely, 100%. Are you trying to equate the fact that I'm excited about South of Midnight and that doesn't make sense because some of the things that you're seeing?
No. I'm saying that you're saying the show wasn't all that good, but that would go ditto for the Xbox show. They're absolutely the same.
Yeah, I don't know.
Slightly better.
I'll tell you why I don't agree with that. Let's just stay with South of Midnight for a moment because I haven't played it, but most of the people who wrote previews that came out this week on it have said the same thing. They've said, the platforming and the combat is pretty standard stuff, and I think that's evident. It looks competent. I've seen it before. It looks very serviceable, but why South of Midnight continues to have me very excited, and it may be a piece of shit game. I have no idea. Okay, buddy. Why I continue to be excited over that game, though, has everything to do with the fact that it's all that stuff is like by itself, I'd be like, eh. But when you basically say that's there to sort of move along.
Really quick. Does it have to do with like for example, that headline that came up with you being an activist, and you're like, what's wrong with that?
Oh God, no. I mean, I am an activist. I mean, I don't know if I'm an activist, but I'm certainly the most progressive guy you've ever met, and I'm proud of that. And I like being progressive.
Is it because it's a black girl and you want, that type of story to be told more or whatever?
That's not why I'm interested in South of Midnight. I am interested in South of Midnight because the Deep South, Louisiana, Gothic horror angle is very fresh for games, and it makes sense that character would be a black person, let alone a black woman. But I don't give a shit about. But yeah, it doesn't matter to me. Like Forspoken has a black woman in it, and I played the demo, and I was like,
they look I get the same vibes from Forspoken.
I think they're very different games. I mean, I played the demo for Forspoken. I thought the parkour.
What do you mean? They're like magical.
Yeah, but I'm talking about if you're talking pure gameplay, Forspoken is open world exploration with more of an RPG bent or a light RPG. This one sounds like it's more linear levels or open levels, but it's more moving you down. Every level is like a specific thing that you have to do in a certain order. And again, to me, the world, the setting, all of those things about South of Midnight that's why I'm interested. And if the gameplay is just like, okay, it's fun, it's serviceable, it's nothing special, that's not why I'm playing it to begin with. I'm playing it because I want to go on that adventure because it seems like a cool adventure to go on. But but Forspoken, after playing the demo, I never went back to it. I was just kind of like, I'm bored of this. I don't want to play this. And that had a black woman in it. So, but that doesn't mean the activism or the desire for equality and fairness goes away. But in this case, there happens to be a black lady in it. In Kingdom Come 2, which is my current obsession, you're playing a white guy, and I think there's one black person in the whole game. And I've also run across the other night a Jewish guy who basically plays into every kind of traditional Jewish stereotype you can imagine. So I can enjoy things for different reasons, but that doesn't make me not an activist.
Right. But I don't know, it has that stigma that it's a DEI game or whatever. That
Because she's a black woman? What else?
Yeah.
So are stories about black people pretty much fucked in games? Because the very nature of having a black person star in a game, it's going to have the stigma of DEI, and there's no getting away from it?
No. I would look at it like, to get away from that, you would have to make the story badass or whatever. Like, for example, I was thinking, what if she had a brother with her, think of Sonic and Tails or whatever, and she had a brother or maybe a boyfriend along that ride with her. Maybe he's not as important, but he's there too. And maybe there's more to the story where they're being chased by some entity or some bullshit that has almost like kind of like a racist sentiment to it.
I'd love it'd be cool. I'd watch that. I'd play that. If you're going up against the Klan in the Deep South, but there's magic.
Right. And they're
cool.
trying to get her weave because it makes their cult powerful or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And the brother helps out or some fuck shit.
I mean, again, I haven't played South of Midnight, so if the story's shit, I'll say it's shit. But that story that story you're talking about, I'm like, that's kind of cool. I'd play something like that. I don't think it makes it the best story ever, but I'd play that game. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, but like I was saying, it goes ditto for Xbox or whatever. But don't get me wrong, Xbox is my preferred platform.
Yeah,
I love the original Xbox. I love the 360 and the One because it had the Kinect. But it goes to gaming has peaked, and it's just more of the same. Different studios telling the same story, but with their paintbrush or whatever. But what caught my eye in the whatever state of play was the MindsEye, the Rockstar guys.
I thought that looked.
Mixing it in.
What did you think of that? I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, I did. I thought it looked really cool. Whatever. Not that it impressed me or anything. I just say, okay, here's because I heard that they left Rockstar Studio and they started their own thing, Rocket Boy or whatever that bullshit is.
Build a Rocket Boy or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is whatever their first game from separating from that thing. For a while, I was confused because there's another faction that's doing their own thing, but they're telling video, like voice stories or something like that.
I think, if you're talking about one of the Hauser brothers is doing kind of a universe of characters that I think they're doing like audio plays and comics, and I think they've got a game coming, but that's his thing, and then this is this other guy's thing. The game looks like it could be pretty janky, but I still like the blend of Fast and the Furious and sort of shootouts, but also Blade Runner cities and outer space, and it could be a piece of shit.
Yeah,
but
to
there's
me,
something
I
cool
didn't
about
like
it.
Cyberpunk, but this would be my Cyberpunk.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm excited for it. All right. Yeah. Well, Game Boy, thanks for calling in.
Hold on, really quick. What do you think about that asteroid that's gonna hit us in like 2032?
2036.
Oh, 36.
Yeah. And
what do you think about it?
I don't think it's going to hit us necessarily. It went from a 1.6 chance that it'll hit us to a 2.3 chance that it'll hit us. I think we've had some success already knocking some of these things out of their orbit. We've also had success landing landers on moving asteroids, and so I think we have enough time if that percentage looks scary enough that there are things we can try. So I'm not too worried about it. I'm not too worried about it.
But what would you think about using that as an opportunity for work and telepresence, sending a shitload of robots out there and using anybody that has the basic skills of a controller or a keyboard and mouse to I don't know, the way I thought about it, you can make a game out of it. Or like a world game.
Well, you mean like send up remote droids that people on the Earth could control and shoot at it?
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem with that though is that
capture it.
Well, the challenge is though is that the worst thing you want to do is knock that thing around and then put it into and suddenly we go from 2.6% chance going up to now 80% chance because somebody knocked it into an orbit that is a direct line for like New York City. So I don't think you want to fuck around with that too much, but you know, we'll see.
We'll capture it.
We'll see. Capture. I mean, it's big. I don't know what you're going to capture. I don't think we have a net that big, but you never know. You never know.
But we got plenty of time to build one.
Hey, I'm there. It'd be we should do something.
But anyways, earlier you said something about Phil Spencer being a visionary. What do you mean by that?
I said two things. I said I vacillate.
I heard the other thing.
Yeah, between him being a leader who's not very good at his job and being a visionary. And I've said even when I think he's doing terrible at his job, I think there's a lot of people that need to go at Microsoft, and maybe this is turning, and we'll see in the next couple of months. If Avowed is great, I'll know tomorrow. You know, if South of Midnight is great, blah, blah, blah. But they have earned the reputation of being really, really bad at first party and managing their second party titles. And I think that there are people there that you could identify as those weak links. And Phil Spencer is probably one of them as it relates to his management abilities. But I do think his vision for games and his ability for...
what is it though? What is that vision?
I think he looks, honestly, I think it's a mix between looking at what's happening in the PC market, what's happening with the console market hitting a ceiling, what's happening with subscription services and services really becoming the main way people are comfortable paying for things.
But that's not his vision, though. I mean, prior, people before him been.
Wait a minute. Now you're just arguing. I mean, to argue, I'm not saying that Phil Spencer came up with subscription services. I mean, that's the magazines or whatever. I'm saying that he's the guy that has a vision for how to take the console or the AAA or the mainstream gaming market in a direction that I think is really interesting and fresh and could be very, very successful if all the dominoes line up. I'm not saying he invented any of those ideas, but he did say in the AAA space, I want to take those ideas and I want to put them together in this way. And I think that's really exciting and interesting.
I don't know. I don't see that vision at all.
That's fine. There's what I don't think it's. I haven't checked recently, but do I get paid more? Do you get paid more if you and I agree?
No. But I mean, I would love an opportunity if he would just, get promoted to just president of Microsoft Gaming, and I would be, CEO of Microsoft Gaming.
Well, yeah. I mean, you should spend your afternoons not calling into shows like this, but working towards that because it's possible.
Nah, don't be like that, man.
I'm not saying I don't want you to call. I'm saying that then go make some games. I get it. I totally get it.
I mean, trust me, I've been trying for like a decade now. I mean, doing my own thing, but like that's why I'm like, this DI shit is bullshit because are you there?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, I heard a thump and I thought the call was.
I think that's Tech Protect coming in saying we probably should move on.
Your boy. Hey, how's it going, everybody in chat? It's Tech Protect out here looking out for David Jaffe as the producer of the show. We had a great show
what's
today.
up, Jamie?
Good conversations. We had some shitty games from Sony, but a couple good ones. A couple ones I might be putting on my wish list here soon. And if you guys donate, maybe I can afford them. Hey, anyways, we're gonna probably be wrapping up the show. What do you think, David Jaffe?
Well, I think especially if I'm going to be going on with Jay and Rich tonight in a few hours, I probably should wrap it up and take a break.
Yep, sounds good. I support that decision. Get yourself some food. Game Boy, good to see you. Longtime follower of the stream. We like this guy. High five. I'm sending it to you remotely.
Yeah, call back though, Game Boy. It's nice to talk to you. Did we want to bring in Anthony real quick? Because he's been waiting real fast. Because he's been waiting. I don't know what he wants, but I don't want to just hang up and not at least acknowledge him. Let's just drag him in real fast. Let's drag him in real fast. Where'd he go?
Is he here?
Oh, maybe he left.
Oh, he went one room up. I can't. Can you drag him? I'm on my phone.
He's gone. I don't see him anymore.
He's in G&G call-in channel. Hold on, let me.
What?
I'll move him. Hold on.
I see him. I got him. Anthony, what's going on, bud? Anthony, where have you been all my life, Anthony?
Anthony,
What you are to me is a locale for TV. We want to see you on your knees. Come give
Whoa,
us a
whoa,
solo of your guitar,
whoa.
baby.
Okay.
Hello? Hello? A little sexual? Sorry.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
A little bit.
Okay. Well, Anthony, we'll get you next time then, because I can't hear anything he's saying. All right, fellas, that's the show. I will be back tonight on Rich and Jay's show. How do people find that? What's it called? Locale Tech?
We'll post a link in the Discord to join us there. Discord.com or discord.gg/Jaffe Games to join our Discord.
Yes. And I will not be streaming it on this channel. You'll have to go over there. Hopefully I'll see you guys over there. In the meantime, thanks for watching and hanging out. I had a good time talking to you guys. Hope you had a good time hanging out. I'll see you tonight or I'll see you on tomorrow's shows. Goodbye, human beings. See you later. Tech, I'll call you in a second.
Sounds good.